హలో నేను అవునండి అవును సార్ ఓకే సార్ స్టార్ట్ చేసాను ఓకే సార్ థ్యాంక్ యూ okay sir, now it is also available on YouTube.
Sir.
Live stream. YouTube is also available.
Live.
Yes, sir. It is live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think a link should be sent.
Yeah. I am going to send it now.
Mute చేయండి, all of you mute. All of you mute your microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Rajeshwari, madam.
Sir, shall we start, sir?
Please make it mute all the microphones and we can start.
నేను చేస్తానండి ఇంకా wait madam wait. Wait, madam, wait. Okay, it reached 100. Shall we go ahead? Shall we commence? Rajeshwari madam.
Yes, sir. Shall we start,
Okay,
sir?
let us go ahead. Already crossed 100.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Sir.
Let us see whether yeah, madam, start. You can start.
Okay, sir. Okay. Good
Ganesh?
afternoon, one and all. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. The
Good
voice is very
afternoon.
much clear. You can go ahead now.
Yeah, okay, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. I am A. Rajeshwari, lecturer in English from Government Degree College, Ravulapalems. Respected Principal Dr. B.V. Tirupanyam Garu, esteemed resource persons and teachers, dear students, research scholars, and all the participants from different quarters of the country. On behalf of Government Degree College, Ravulapalem, East Godavari District, Andhra Pradesh, I welcome you all to this interdisciplinary national webinar organized jointly by Departments of Physics and History in commemoration of Hiroshima Nagasaki Day. It is known that this day is a reminder of bombings on Japan and its adverse and long-lasting impact on human life. The objective of observation of this day is to keep alive the human resolve to promote peace globally. This webinar is intended to study the scientific and historic perspectives of the bombing and its aftermath. I request our principal, Sir Dr. B.V. Tirupanyam Garu, to inaugurate this webinar with his opening address. With this, I hand over this platform to our principal, Sir Dr. B.V. Tirupanyam Garu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rajeshwari ma'am. Dear colleagues, participants and research persons, very good afternoon to you all. Indeed, it gives me immense pleasure to meet you all to this national level interdisciplinary webinar that is being hosted by the Departments of History and Physics as a joint venture. Let me extend you all again a warm welcome to this webinar. Dear friends, we know that so many scientific and technological discoveries and innovations and inventions have been made during the last 20th century as well as during the early half of 21st century. And these discoveries and innovations in the science and technology leading to scientific and technological advances are generally intended to ameliorate the lives of common people. And these technological and scientific advancements are also meant for development of economies of various nations globally. But unfortunately, in the early half of 20th century, various regions, including the rise of fascism in Italy, expansionist attitude of certain nations, including Japan, militarism, nationalism, and failure of various treaties agreed upon in World War I. And US isolationism led to use of these technological advances in the war for settling their own scores with enemy nations and for domination. The classic example of this kind of exploitation can be seen in the uses of these scientific and technological advancements in nuclear energy technology in 1945 for bombing on two cities of Japan as a retaliatory measure for Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii in 1941 as a part of World War II, and with a view to stop the expansionist attitude of Japan, as well as to defeat the one of the nations of ex-powers. The US has dropped a nuclear bomb on the two cities of Japan. Dear friends, the act of this bombing on Hiroshima and Nagasaki cities led to later execution of so many nuclear non-proliferation treaties worldwide. However, still some nations and countries are engaged in enriching nuclear fuels for making nuclear weapons, which is really a cause for concern. The international leadership and institutions should join hands in ensuring that these scientific and technological advances, the scientific and the technological community is coming out should be used only for advancement of human beings and economies rather than exploiting the technological advances for destruction practices. I wish that this webinar serves the purpose for which it is being organized, and definitely I feel that I hope that all of you, especially the participants, the both faculty members as well as the student community, will definitely get benefited a lot from these deliberations. I wish all the best to the organizing committee, especially the conveners of both the departments of physics and history, for coming out with such a wonderful title, um, uh, in this interdisciplinary webinar on this really excellent topic. Thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So may I now request Dr. Sri Satyamurthy Garu to introduce the first resource person of this webinar. Satyamurthy, sir. Satyamurthy Garu.
Satyamurthy Gara.
Sir.
Satyamurthy Garu, you can go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now I am will.
Yeah, you're
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a great privilege to me to introduce our today's lecture, today's speaker, Mr. K.V. Ganesh Kumar of DRG College, Tadepalgudam. He is a very young and enthusiastic lecturer, and he has many credits. He had developed a blog for the convenience of the students, and he permitted us, all of us, to use his material. And today, and coming to his career, he passed MSc from Andhra University with distinction in 2008. He also passed awarded JRF and NET lecturership in 2009 through NET. In 2011, he passed. He secured third rank in APPSC lecturer examination, selectional examination, and he joined as S. Chintalapati Murtiraju College, Ganapavaram, West Godavari district on 4th February 2012. Later, he has transferred to Tadepalgudam, DRG College, Tadepalgudam, and he has also authored digital study material for the UG students syllabus, and he also developed a blog with the URL www.ganesh Korakala.blogspot.in, focusing on the applications of physics entitled Fascinating Physics. So, with this, I hand over the mic to the young and enthusiastic speaker, Sri K.V. Ganesh Kumar. Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to all the participants, students, faculty to this webinar on the commemorating the Hiroshima Nagasaki Day. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank Principal Sir Tirupaniam Sir and HOD of Physics Department Murthy Garu for giving me this opportunity to present what I know about nuclear energy. So, myself, KV Ganesh Kumar, Assistant Professor of Physics in the DRG Government Degree College, Tadepalligudem. I hope the screen is visible to all. Now,
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
as you can see, the title of my presentation is Nuclear Energy, which is the creator and the destroyer. The title itself gives you a panoramic tone of my presentation. My presentation will be devoid of any mathematical relationships and all the deeper scientific insights. I would like to give you a panoramic scientific perception of the prospects of nuclear energy and what is the positive side of the nuclear energy also. From the title, what you can understand is that, for example, if you take the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, when we hear the term COVID-19, generally we go in a negative approach. That means corona is a COVID-19 is a dangerous disease which has a high mortality rate when compared to the seasonal flu. So many people are, thousands of people are being, lakhs of people are being affected, and thousands are could not survive the disease. So when we think, similar to the fact that when we think of the term COVID-19 in a negative way, with due respect to the sufferings that we are facing in the form of the home isolation, all these things, without going to the college and without having the opportunity to teach to students all these things, there is a positive side to it also. You might also know that you might have read many articles in various newspapers that due to the coronavirus pandemic, what many nations have done and are doing continuously till now is that they are forcing lockdown. Due to this lockdown, the pollution levels have mitigated drastically. So, what in another perspective, what I think is that the coronavirus has given the Mother Nature an opportunity to heal itself. As we know, Mother Nature has a wonderful ability to heal itself. For example, the formation of cyclones, typhoon, all these things, they are an attempt made by Mother Nature to heal itself. Similarly, the coronavirus also, it has given us many hints that how we should live to protect the Mother Nature for the ensuing generations also. So, in the same manner, as Rajasari Madam nicely introduced in the opening, when we hear the term nuclear energy, generally we think of one thing that comes to our mind is that the Hiroshima Nagasaki bombing, because arguably that's right also. In that devastating incident, lakhs of people have died and many people are still suffering, we can say. For example, if you ask me what is my API score last year and what is the vaccine that is given to my baby's 3-year child, I cannot remember. But even after 75 years, such is the physical damage and the psychological stress that has inculcated the Hiroshima bombing, that we are still observing this Hiroshima bombing and we are still trying to spread the message that science is always good. It is our wisdom that should enlighten us and that we should not use it for destructive purpose. So in the same manner, so I would like to bring another dimension of nuclear energy, the creator part also, not the destroyer part. We are all familiar with the destroyer part. So you can see here, energy. The term itself is fascinating. Everything that we do revolves around energy. For example, for organizing this webinar, we are using lots of kilowatts of energy, isn't it? When you consume something, a food, something like that, the chemical energy in the food gets converted into mechanical energy. For example, in this webinar, the electrical energy is being converted to light energy and the sound energy and all these things. So our life revolves around energy itself. The statement which you can see here, energy is the currency of existence. This single statement is enough to signify
Sorry to
the
interrupt you,
goal of energy.
Ganesh, sorry to interrupt you.
Sir.
So can you maximize the slide? Can you maximize the slide? F5, press F5. F5.
Yes, sir, I know, sir.
Okay, it's not.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
The statement is the energy is the currency of existence. That single statement is enough to give an idea about the importance of energy in our lives. You have to deeply understand this sentence, currency of existence. What it means is that if something exists in the universe, it must have energy. Anything that exists must have energy. If I say that I exist, I have to prove that I have energy. On a funny note or on a lighter note, if you say that God exists, you have to prove that God has energy. Such is the fundamental role of energy in our lives and in the evolution of universe itself. So it is the currency of existence. With if something doesn't have an energy, something doesn't have energy, it means that it doesn't exist. For example, the mouse that I am holding in my hand does have energy in the form of mass. So energy is the currency of existence. Moreover, as we all know, energy triggers the economic and social development of a country. For example, if you see in America, the per capita energy consumption is 10 times the energy consumption in India. So what you can understand is that in countries where the energy consumption or energy production is more, obviously those countries are economically, they are much more developed than the other countries which have lower energy consumption. So energy is like a parameter for the economic status of a country or a region and something like that. For example, if you are applying for a ration card, what the authorities scrutinize is that they ask for the electricity bill of the previous 3 months. Why do they ask that? Because the electricity bill is a measure of the consumption of electricity in the house. The consumption of electricity, the consumption of energy is a measure of your economic status. So, energy has a huge role to play in our lives. Those countries which have natural resources, the several energy resources like coal, oil, natural gas reserves, those countries which have such high reserves of those coal, oil, natural gas, they are developing much more rapidly those countries than those countries which doesn't have that much of these energy resources. So that is the significance of energy. Every process that we see around us is simply a conversion of energy of one form into another. So, such is the fundamental role played by energy in our lives. Without energy, we are just powerless. So, with a brief introduction of energy, I move on to the next slide. So, what is nuclear energy? As the name rightly suggests, as we know that this being an interdisciplinary dinner, I would like to express my ideas in a lighter scientific note. So, to even to the common man, those who are belong to the history background also, they may understand these topics. Nuclear, as we know, the smallest building block everybody thought was the atom. The very name was that the atom came from the name that the Greek atomos. Atomos means uncuttable. So everybody thought that atom was the smallest building block, but later science is nothing but the development. It is the purity. It goes on. There is only one religion in the world that criticizes itself and makes progress. That is science. I am proud to say that. And the students also should, those who are studying science, they have that passion to, while studying science subjects, it is the only religion that criticizes itself and that purifies itself and goes ahead. That's the only religion, science, that I always find inspiring about science. So later scientists discovered that atom is indeed cuttable and it consists of a dense core called nucleus around which electrons circulate. So the dense core, which is a very small region, and it contains almost 99.99% of the mass of the atom, is named as nucleus. So nuclear energy is nothing but the energy which has been obtained from the nucleus. How you obtain the energy? Then we may have different processes. For example, nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, all these processes. So fundamentally speaking, nuclear energy is the energy which has been obtained from the nucleus. So one thing we should make note of is that here you can see in the photo, in the picture, Albert Einstein explained the equation E is equal to mc square. As we all know that this is one of the most popular and famous equations of all time. Even a non-science student, a student of history background or a commerce background, know this equation. Such is the popular effect of this equation. As this equation tells that, as you know that in the equation, E is the energy, M is the mass, and C is the speed of light. the only constant thing in the universe. Everything is changing except the speed of light. So what this equation tells you is that mass and energy, everybody thought that before Einstein, if you, such is the fundamental role of Albert Einstein, fundamental effect of Albert Einstein on the scientific realm is that, for example, if you divide time before Christ and after death, something BC AD, in the same manner, if you want to divide the scientific era, you have to divide it before Einstein and after Einstein. Such is the tremendous impact he has on the scientific discoveries. So he has unified so many things. Unification has a lot of beauty, isn't it? If you ask somebody what is the most memorable day in your life, most people would say it is a marriage day because it is the unification of hearts. Similarly, Einstein has made so many unifications. The attempt of Einstein to unify many things is something that is always fascinating. One such unification is the unification of mass and energy. Of course, that unification is already there before the mankind has evolved also, but he has identified and he has found that they have that inbuilt unity. So what this equation tells you is that I will later tell you why I am explaining this equation before explaining the nuclear energy. This equation has a role to play in the explanation of nuclear energy. M is the mass and E is the energy. What the equation tells you simply is that mass and energy, they are not different entities, they are interconvertible. Mass can be converted into energy and energy can be converted into matter. So as a consequence of this is that when you use nuclear fission or a nuclear fusion, what happens is that, for example, if you take nuclear fission, two smaller nuclei fuse together to form a large nucleus. For example, A and B are the smaller nuclei, and C is the nucleus which is formed when A and B combine. For example, the masses of A and B, let it be 1 gram and 1 gram, hypothetically, then the mass of the combined nucleus C should be 2 grams. It will never be 2 grams. 1 plus 1 mathematically equal to 2, but as per physics, it is not 2. Mathematics is quite different from physics. In mathematics, you can say C plus C is equal to 2C, but in physics, you say that C plus C is equal to C. C is something which is not it is very constant and it does not change. So what happens in the nuclear fusion reaction is that so the mass of the combined nucleus C should be 2, but it will never be 2, as I told earlier. It will be some fraction less than 2. That small fraction, that deficit of mass, will be converted into energy. If you don't take into account the mass energy equivalence and the fact that mass gets converted into energy, you might end up scratching your head. What happens to the mass? It is a law of conservation of mass. So what happened to this mass? The mass of the compound nucleus C should be 1 plus 1, 2. But you have to identify the fact that the mass energy equivalence is also one of the fundamental principles of nature. It is as fundamental as you can get. The evolution of the universe itself stems from this equation, E is equal to mc square. So what happens, as I told earlier, the mass of the combined nucleus will be a fraction less than the sum of the masses of the two nuclei, thereby that missing mass gets converted into energy. As we know, the value of the light speed, c, is 3 into 10 power 8. 3 into 10 power 8 is a very large value, as you know. So even the mass of the, if the mass of the particle is small, then if you multiply it with c square, then you will end up with a very large number E. You can find a video in YouTube with Einstein explaining in his own words the equivalence of mass and energy. What he says is that mass and energy, they are not different. They are interconvertible. Even a small amount of matter contains a very large amount of energy. So in nuclear energy production processes, what happens is the mass gets converted into energy. When mass gets converted into energy, even a small amount of matter will give you very large amount of energy. As many of you might have known that the Hiroshima incident, when the Americans dropped the little boy on Hiroshima, and subsequently after 3 days, they dropped the fat man also. The devastation that has been created has been discussed till now also. So you might expect that tremendous amount of energy might have been released. It is a nuclear bomb. So the energy which has been produced is from nucleus itself. It is the nuclear energy. So why such tremendous amount of energy is released? That is the answer which has been given just now. Even the mass, when mass gets converted into energy, even when the mass is small, you will have a lot of energy. In that process, you will produce a lot of energy. Surprisingly, as many people might know that how much amount of mass gets converted into energy in that Hiroshima bomb is about not even a gram. It is almost about half of gram. So 0.5 grams of mass when gets converted into energy, that's what happened. Even after 75 years, here so many academicians and so many participants are gathered here organizing a webinar discussing the impact of Hiroshima bombing. Just 0.5 grams of mass is responsible for the entire destruction. Such is the power of this equation. Such is the power of mass energy equivalence. So that nuclear energy, it is harnessed from nucleus through the principle of mass energy equivalence. Yesterday, 3 days ago, we heard that in Lebanon, the capital of Lebanon, Beirut, there is an explosion. In that explosion, that one also a very devastating explosion. So many people have died, but you cannot compare that explosion to the Hiroshima bombing. You can never compare it because basically energy kills, isn't it? When you, on a lighter note, when somebody shoots you, uh, we may file a case against the person who shot us, but it is the kinetic energy of the bullet that is the killer in the physics perspective. It is the kinetic energy that killed us. If the bullet is not in the gun, you can handle it. You can hold it in your hand. It is the kinetic energy. So energy kills. So in the explosions, casualties or so many injuries, why they happen is that it is due to the energy. So there is a fundamentally different mechanism here in nuclear bombs. In Beirut blasting, it's an ordinary bomb, some large amount of explosives are used, but in that explosion, energy of one form gets converted into another form. So it is conversion of energy into energy also. But in nuclear bombs, in Hiroshima bombing or Nagasaki bombing, it is the conversion of mass into energy, which, as I told earlier, produces a vast amount of energy even with a small amount of mass. So the reason why I'm saying laying stress on is the fact that, for example, I will give you an analogy. If you have a lot of wealth, so much wealth, like Mukesh Ambani or somebody you take a celebrity, uh, you invest that wealth in many things. Generally, we purchase some plots, or so invest in houses, or we sometimes invest in gold. So to save or to protect our money, we invest in something. Nature also has discovered a mechanism to store its energy. That is nothing but mass. It is the most effective way to store energy. It is the densest form of energy, you can say. Mass is the densest form of energy. For example, if you have a lot of money, for example, if you want to store 10 lakh rupees, it will occupy a large place, isn't it? For example, if you purchase gold of 10 lakhs value, that doesn't occupy that much place. So what happens is, it is a much safer option, a better option to save that money. In the same manner, nature during the evolution, it has so much of energy. So nature has devised a mechanism to store its energy in the form of mass. So this is the underlying statement here. The bottom line here is that why nuclear bombs are so dangerous is the fact that in nuclear bombing, the basic mechanism of production of energy is the conversion of mass into energy, which obviously triggers production of tremendous amount of energy due to this equivalence of mass and energy, which has Einstein discovered. So I hope I am clear. This nuclear energy is a basically different process of producing energy. Move on to the next slide. As in the title, I have mentioned that nuclear energy is the creator and the destroyer also. Why I have tagged that word that it is the creator? For example, in astronomy, you might have known that as per the best theory that we have right now, universe evolved or rather born from an incident called Big Bang, isn't it? It happened very long time ago. Don't even know when does it happen because space, time, everything started from that point. We cannot ask the question that when did Big Bang took place. That question has no meaning because time itself started from that incident. that event, the event of Big Bang. So when the Big Bang occurred, um, uh, what happened is the universe expanded. With it, the space, time, and everything also expanded. So it goes on. If it is expanded like that, you and I and life like ourselves would not have existed. What happened is that due to gravity, in some area, nebulae formed. Nebulae, and these nebulae also due to the gravitational attraction in some parts, stars were beginning to form. Due to this production, due to the formation of stars, what happened is star is something that is self-illuminating, as you know that. So where does the star gets its energy from? The reason why I'm talking about stars when it comes to nuclear energy is that you can see in the line, the origin of life in the universe is made possible only by the nuclear energy produced in star through nuclear fission. You can ask me, you can contradict why we are talking about the sun, the production of energy in sun, when you talk about the origin of life. As we know that we are not products of earth, we are products of sun. Earth itself is also produced from sun, and moreover we are at the start of the universe there is only hydrogen, predominantly 19% of hydrogen and some part of helium rather. But we are not made of hydrogen and helium, we are primarily made of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. Such heavier elements constitute us. So where does these heavier elements come from? So what I want to tell you is that the necessary ingredients to form for the birth of life, the oxygen, nitrogen, these heavier elements, where did they produce? They are produced in the deepest chambers of sun. So how the factory sun works? Sun works on basing on the principle of nuclear fusion. Again, here the nuclear energy. So what happens is in sun you will have hydrogen and helium. These nuclei fuse together, as I told earlier, in nuclear fusion reaction, and hydrogen and helium fuse together, they form lithium, and lithium again in turn fuses with helium, producing some heavier element. In the same manner, you will end up having some heavier elements. These heavier elements are stored inside the sun. So the seeds which are necessary are required for you and I to form. They are formed in the deepest chambers of the sun, and that is made possible only by the formation of stars and indirectly by the production of nuclear energy. We do Surya Namaskara in the mornings. Many spiritual people do Surya Namaskara because sun is the provider of energy. Where does the sun gets its energy from? The sun, even the sun, which is responsible for the origin of life in the universe, gets its energy from nuclear energy. It is the nuclear energy, it's nothing more than that. So you can understand is that the mass energy equivalence or conversion of mass into energy is the fundamental mechanism with which nature produces energy. So the origin of life in the universe is also produced due to nuclear energy. So this is the positive side of nuclear energy. You can clearly understand. After listening to this, you can clearly, even though we have a very negative approach, even though of course we are using nuclear energy for power production, also many nuclear reactors are still there. But generally, if somebody says that a nuclear reactor is going to be built in the city, many people would oppose. If you conduct a survey, 90% of the people would say that it will be hazardous, some radiation leak will be there and will be dangerous for the people living in that area. But nuclear energy on the other side, it is responsible for the origin of life. It is something that is responsible, and that is something that triggered the evolution of life in the universe. So this is the positive side of nuclear energy. As I told earlier, it is a fundamental mechanism employed by Mother Nature to harness energy. Surprisingly, I would like to tell you one thing here. As I told earlier, the Big Bang is the event that started everything. After that, everything expanded, and in some places, stars have born, and the stars, due to the nuclear energy which has been produced, and all these things happened. You might have some people might have known that the total energy of the universe is zero, approximately zero. The universe is a free lunch, you can feel it. The universe is a free lunch. So where does this energy come from? This energy comes from a small quantum fluctuation at the Big Bang event. This quantum fluctuation, some small quantity of energy of the order of Planck's constant emanated, and this energy gets converted into mass some antiparticle pairs have been produced, and the universe that we are seeing, the vast universe that we are seeing now, is a result of this conversion of mass into energy, and later the formation of stars, which in turn is due to the nuclear energy and all these things. So nuclear energy has played a pivotal role in the formation of stars, and in turn in the formation or in the origin of human beings like us. That is one thing I would like to stress upon. As we can see, um, the energy consumption of humanity has increased dramatically. You can see the graph here from in chronologically in 1820, the world energy consumption is very small. 1820, 1840, as you go forward in the timeline, you can see after 2000, the graph almost, excuse me, the graph almost rose vertically. So along with the development, in parallel to the technological development, the consumption of energy also increased rapidly. How do you meet the energy requirement? For example, you are burning oil, coal, natural gas, and recently you are turning to renewables also. But all these energy generation process, for example, if you take oil, coal, natural gas, even the renewables also, solar, wind, and all the geothermal energy, and all these things they are they are simply different forms of solar energy, isn't it? All these forms, coal, oil, natural gas, and all these things they are one of the different forms of solar energy. But the amount of energy that we can produce from these sources is very small. I can say this because, um, for example, if you go back in the Hiroshima bombing, how much of mass is gets converted into energy? Only 0.5 grams of mass got converted into energy. With 0.5 grams of mass, we have that tremendous amount of energy. Then, if you can, if you can address the safety issues as well as the develop a mechanism for or exploiting this nuclear energy, you will clearly overcome the energy scarcity, and we will have a lot of energy available. So nuclear energy has that potential to address all the energy needs here. I'm using very cautioning words here. Nuclear energy, of course, it has some side effects also, some safety issues, but from a purely scientific point of view, if you can address the safety issues and all these things, surely nuclear energy has that inbuilt potential, because the basic uh, energy production process, that is the conversion of mass into energy, has a lot of potential. Even with a small amount of matter, you can produce a large amount of energy. So all we have to do is that we have to devise some safer methods and some process of producing nuclear energy, advanced methods. All these methods are required to produce the energy, to meet the energy demands of the future generation. Has enormous potential to, as you can see in the slide here, nuclear energy has enormous potential to address the growing energy needs of the modern civilization. So on the other side of the coin is that to meet the increasing energy requirement, we are burning more oil, more coal, and more natural gas. Of course, some part of renewables is there. Still, the nuclear energy supplies almost 10% of world's electricity. That's a small amount. What we can do is that with devising some safer methods, we can enhance the nuclear power percentage, so that we can mitigate the use of these non-renewables like oil, coal, natural gas. When you mitigate the use of these conventional resources, obviously it leads to some, it will address the environmental concerns due to the carbon emissions and all these things. So uh, if we can if we can safely explore or exploit the nuclear energy, it will do a lot of good for us. It is the cleanest energy that we can produce. Even with renewables also, you will have some disadvantages, like they are intermittent. For example, wind energy, solar energy, they are intermittent. They have huge capital investment, all these things. Apart from this, with proper developments in science, nuclear energy has that potential to surpass all these achievements and produce a lot of energy that modern man needs. So this is the creator part. So till now, what we have discussed is that nuclear energy on a positive side. It is that energy, it is the nuclear energy that is responsible for the formation of stars, and the formation of stars itself, led to the production of heavier elements with which we are all made up of. So it has played a pivotal role in the evolution of life also. But in the second thing is that it has the potential to address our energy needs also. That is the positive side of nuclear energy. Now, as you can see here, Little Boy is the name of the atom bomb. It is the code name which is given to the atom bomb which is dropped on Hiroshima on 1945 August 6th. You can see the diagram photos here also. Fat Man is the name of the atom bomb dropped on Nagasaki after 3 days. Um, this is the negative side. Moving on to the next slide, you can see in the picture why nuclear energy is destroyed. It is the nuclear energy that is responsible for the devastation that we are seeing in the picture. Almost it is like a graveyard. One more photo. These photos are taken after the explosion of the comparison. You can see Hiroshima city before the blast and after the blast. You can see a wide contrast between these two photos. Yeah, and it is even surprising to note that, as I told earlier, only just 0.5 grams of mass is responsible for this entire destruction that we are seeing on your monitors. Such is the potential of nuclear energy. This is the present photo of Hiroshima. Even after that devastation, they have managed to revive their economy, and they are presently doing good. Future of nuclear energy. I would like to touch upon the future of nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, as we can say, it is the trade-off between the safety and energy security. I can see many people who are advocating this that due to the nuclear disasters that have been happening recently, nuclear energy is something that should be production of nuclear energy should be mitigated due to the safety concerns. But as I told earlier, the energy security, the exponentially increasing energy requirement can be met only if if we produce the nuclear energy. Nuclear energy provides, as I told earlier, 10% of the world's electricity, and that will increase in future also, even with small opposition there. It is the second largest source of low carbon electricity. That is the advantage of nuclear energy. With nuclear energy, it is the with uranium, as long as the uranium reserves are there. Approximately, if you at the present rate of consumption, uranium reserves will be there for almost 200 years from now. So you don't have any scarcity of coal, oil, natural gas like that. You have lot of uranium reserves, so you can produce nuclear energy continuously. Only thing is that you have to address the safety issues. It is the second largest of low carbon electricity, which is the fastest growing energy resource. In this photo, you can see the consumption of energy. It is the future of nuclear energy. The nuclear energy, how the use of nuclear energy has increased chronologically with time. Total energy consumption, total world energy consumption. Still, we are these stats are from 2019. You can say 38% is from coal, 22% is from gas, and then hydro. You can see here 10.2% of the global energy comes from nuclear. So it has that. It is the second largest low carbon producing energy source. I would like to conclude with this quotation by Albert Einstein. Science always offers good for all. As I told earlier, it is the wisdom of the humanity to use science for only constructive purpose. It is not for destructive purpose. It is a famous quotation by Albert Einstein. I don't know with what weapons. I know with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. You can clearly understand if World War III would have happens, we don't know which what weapons it would happen. Some bio weapons are there, some anthrax like viruses are there. But World War IV, if it happens, since every country has a nuclear bomb, after bombing of Hiroshima, what we have seen what happened. In the same manner, if every country uses a nuclear bomb in World War III, then nothing will be left. Then World War IV, even if after that we want to fight, World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. This is the message that Albert Einstein gave to us. So, my presentation is all about the role of science in transforming the society. Science, as continuously stressing, always does good to us. Science is nothing but it is an incessant pursuit to understand Mother Nature. In that pursuit, we discover some principles, and we have to make use of principles for the good of the society. For example, if we go on manufacturing nuclear bombs and all these things, then it will be devastation only. So uh, we have to use science for good only. That is the message Albert Einstein would like to convey this. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would like to answer some queries if participants are asking. I open the conference for any queries.
Yeah. Uh, Participants can unmute themselves and ask queries. Ganesh, you can also unmute yourself. You may have been muted. Those who want to ask queries, who want to clear your doubts clarified, can unmute yourself. You
Sir,
can.
can I, sir?
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah.
Sure, madam.
Sir, what are the possibilities of shifting from carbon-based fuel economy to hydrogen-based fuel economy, sir?
Sure, madam. Actually, we are in the process of doing so, madam. Many
Yes.
countries are resorting to the renewable energies now. As you can see, the government also providing subsidies for the establishment of solar plants and wind plants and all these things. All these attempts are intended to mitigate the use of these carbon fuels like coal, oil, natural gas, and encourage the low carbon resources like coal and the wind, solar, and the nuclear also. So we are moving in the direction, madam. But when can we achieve that? It happens very slowly, madam. Just like the growth of a plant, the transition takes place always slowly. You can never say from sunset to sunrise, the transition takes place very slowly. In the same manner, the shift of paradigm from a non-renewable energy sources to renewable energy sources, the transition takes place very slowly. We have to wait, and fortunately, we are in the direction, madam.
Sir, meanwhile, we have to combat with environmental degradation, sir.
Yes, madam. That environmental degradation is a consequence of the use of, as we know,
Carbon-based.
the carbon-based fuels. My
Yes.
presentation also advocates the fact that if we can devise safer methods for the production of nuclear energy, addressing all these issues, nuclear energy is one of the cleanest energy resources. If we can address the radiation leak and all these problems, that is the cleanest energy source, not just the quality, it is the quantity, how much energy it can produce. That's simply it's out of your imagination. It can produce, like, it has the potential to produce a lot of energy, provided the other issues are addressed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
One thing I would like to add is that,
Sir.
for example, you might have seen in many films, aliens. We are located in some science fiction movies from far planets or far different solar systems. They come to us, they visit us.
Flying
What is that?
saucers.
What is the fuel that they use? They use a process called annihilation. Annihilation is a process where you combine matter with antimatter, which produces a lot of energy. So, from this
Annihilation
point
it
of
is
view,
called.
production of energy using the mass energy convergence principle is fundamentally different. It has a lot of potential. Nuclear energy is one such mechanism which exploits that conversion of mass into energy. That's what I would like to stress.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Chernobyl and Japan incidents are developed by causing human errors.
Yes, sir.
So people are worried to start any nuclear reactor. They want to not to use nuclear energy.
Right.
So they are hesitating to start a project in their place.
Right.
Because ours is a densely populated country,
Yes,
and
sir.
establishment of a nuclear power plant involves what we call evacuation of people from their
Yeah,
respective places. And they're
during
not properly accommodated somewhere else also. That's what we have seen in Narmada. That is because of which Narmada Bachao Andolan has come up.
Yes, madam.
These are all the practical difficulties
Madam,
that we encounter.
You will have number of practical difficulties when we are trying to do something. For example, we are planning to give video lectures to students from tomorrow onwards as per the in compliance to the instructions of Honorable Commissioner. You might have come across a lot of problems. For example, students might have 1 GB data per day. After the completion of 1 hour of class, their data might get expired and they go offline. There may be various issues. Even in the hydro electricity production also, the environment also, they have a lot of opposition. In the same manner also, for nuclear energy, there may be a lot of opposition from the public perception. But from a purely scientific point of view, I'm only exploring the potential of nuclear energy.
Yes, sir. But
That's why I
is it suitable?
keep on stressing the point that it is in the hands of the scientists to devise safer methods and use much more superior technology so that we can extract that potential. It has the potential to surpass all the energy needs. There may be opposition, madam, and the opposition may be real also, but the thing is that we have to overcome through incessant efforts.
And convince also, convincing way and taking precautionary measures.
They may be convinced only with proper development, sir. Without the political dialogue, would not do any good. With scientific development, they may be able to understand the fact. For example, manufacturing vaccine. For example, if you take genetic engineering, there may be many people who oppose that branch of science, genetic engineering. That is not ethical and all these things. So again, the same discussion comes here. Science is always for good. Only thing is that we have to employ our wisdom to use it for construct, not for destruction.
Good or bad.
Any more queries from participants?
Sir.
The participants can unmute themselves and ask your questions. Any more questions?
Aditya Garu, you can unmute yourself.
The participants who wish to ask questions can unmute themselves. Just raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Raise your hand, those who wish to interact with the research person. Simply raise your hand so that we can see you and unmute you. Okay. I don't think there are any questions. Shall we go ahead with the second speech?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Ganesh. You
Thank
have really delivered a wonderful lecture. Really, some of the facts we don't know about nuclear energy. Really, have given good insights into nuclear energy, and you have related that nuclear energy with life, origin of life. That is really a fascinating concept. Thanks so much. I request Akala Rajeshwari. Hello.
Sir.
Madam.
Yes, sir.
To appreciate, congratulate him.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation on nuclear energy as creator as well as destroyer. And also today I came to know about many facts, and even an art student like me can understand science well. And that's what you proved today with the help of a good teacher. Thank you very much for giving us a wonderful lecture on nuclear energy. Shall we move on to the next session, sir?
Yeah. Let us invite sir, Ravulapalems.
Thank you very much, Ganesh Garu, on behalf of Physics Department and also our college.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sir.
Yeah, we move on to the next session. I request Karunasri Madam to be online. Madam?
Madam?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
I request Srimati PVVS Ninal Karunasri Madam to introduce the resource person of the next session of this webinar.
Thank you, Rajeshwari Madam. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Karunasri, lecturer in history, Government Degree College, Ravulapalems. I deem this opportunity as most privileged one to introduce a versatile personality, Sri Kopparthi Venkataramanamurthy Garu. Graduated from Andhra Loyola College, Vijayawada, Krishna district in 1978. Had his postgraduate degree in history from VSM College, Ramachandrapuram in 1980. Sir started teaching history since 1981 to intermediate students of KVM Chambers Junior College, Palakul, and subsequently to the degree students of government degree colleges located at Porumamilla, Rajolu, Tanuku, Sithanagaram, Palakullu, and promoted as principal government degree college, Eluru, West Godavari district in 2010, and subsequently retired as principal from Government Degree College, Kamavarapu in 2019. Out of his total service of 39 years, served 30 years as lecturer and 9 years as principal. Coming to the literary achievements, brought out 3 anthologies of free verses in Telugu, namely Pitta Pade Paata Kosam in 1991, Vishada Mohanam in 2003, Yabiyella Vana in 2014. Referring to the awards received, Sir was honored with Devulapalli Krishna Sastri Award, Hyderabad in 1991, Samata Rachayatala Sangam Award, Amlapuram in 1991, Ummadi City Sahiti Award, Anantapur in 2003, Andhra Saraswata Samiti Award, Machilipatnam in 2003, Sinare Sahitya Puraskaram, Karimnagar in 2004, Viswakala Peetam Snehanidhi Puraskaram, Hyderabad in 2007, Free Verse Front Award, Hyderabad in 2008, Devarakonda Balagangadhar Tilak Award, Tanuku in 2010, and Somasundar Literary Award in 2019. Coming to the important participations and representations. Represented Telugu in the National Symposium of Poets held by All India Radio at Kolkata in 2012, and the poem has been translated into 22 Indian languages. Represented Telugu in South Indian Poets Meet at Tirur, Kerala in 2005. Represented Telugu in national symposiums organized by Kendra Sahitya Academy in Guwahati and New Delhi in 2018. Potti Sri Ramulu Telugu University undertook research on the topic Kopparthi Rachanalu Oka Pariselana, an insight into the writings of Kopparthi, and awarded the MPhil degree to one of its research scholars. His poems got translated into English, Hindi, and Malayalam, contributing poems and essays to All India Radio for the last 25 years. Published poems, articles in all leading Telugu newspapers, magazines, and journals. Delivered good number of lectures on Telugu literature. Referring to professional achievements, co-authored History of Cuba in Telugu, co-authored textbooks in history for +2 level and undergraduate level in both Telugu and English media under the following titles published by Telugu Academy, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Bharatadesha Charitra in the name of Charitra in Telugu for first year intermediate, Indian history in the name of history in English for first year intermediate, Prapancha Charitra in the name of Charitra in Telugu for second year intermediate, World history in the name of history in English for second year intermediate, Adhunika Prapancha Charitra in the Telugu for undergraduate third year degree, Modern World history in English for undergraduates third year degree. Delivered lectures in history on Mana TV, an undertaking of collegiate education, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Guided several candidates in succeeding civil services exams of UPSC and Group 1, Group 2 exams of APPSC. Acted as resource person for several state and national level seminars. Delivered hundreds of lectures on historical, sociological, and philosophical issues. Serving as Vice President AP History Congress since 2018. He is a great motivator, mentor, and an influential personality in bringing up so many individuals. We are fortunate enough today to have Sir as one of the resource persons. With this, I introduce Sri Kopparthi Ramanamurthy Garu to the participants. We are very much thankful to you for accepting our invitation as resource person and I humbly welcome you to commence the session, sir. Thank you.
Can I go ahead?
Sir,
Okay. Thank you,
thank you, sir.
Srimati Karunasri garu.
Thank you, sir.
In fact,
Good afternoon, sir.
I
I'm Tirupaniam,
requested.
sir. Welcome, sir.
Okay, Dr. Tirupaniam, thank you very much.
Fortunate to have
So
you,
it-
sir.
Okay. So at the outset, let me thank Dr. Tirupaniam, the principal, Government Degree College, Ravulapalems, okay, and young and energetic, dynamic principal, whom I have known for the last almost 20 years. I thank him for inviting me, and I also thank Srimati Krishnaveni Garu, Department of History, for making arrangements of my participation in this webinar. And I also congratulate KV Ganesh Kumar for his wonderful lecture on the creator and the destroyer of this atomic bomb. In fact, I missed him. I missed this lecture, the initial part of it. I could join only at the end. So in fact, in the morning, I had another session, okay, and that session was over only at 1 o'clock, and I took some time to join you. Sorry for late joining, and I thank all the participants who are here. Almost 160 participants are there, it seems. Coming from all over India, I think. Isn't it, Dr. Tirupaniam?
Yes, sir. Almost 20% are from other states.
Oh, 20% are from other states. Very nice. Okay. It's nice to talking to all the younger students. So in fact, I was asked by Dr. Tirupaniam to present on the historical perspective of the atomic bombing on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the bombing. So it's really very interesting. The very idea of interdisciplinary webinar on this particular subject is definitely it is a welcoming move, and in fact I should congratulate the organizers for making an effort to bring out two different angles of atomic bomb into one webinar. That is, one is the scientific part of it, and the other is the historical and the sociological part of it. Because myself being student of history and social studies, I'm given this part of the historical let's say developments that finally the historical development that finally led to the bombing of atom bomb on Japan by America and other allied powers. Okay, right. In fact, this is a very tough topic which cannot be dealt without any supporting device. I mean, so at least I should have made some PowerPoint presentation, or I should have at least have blackboard with me. Okay, without these two, it is very difficult to tell you the developments that led to the Second World War and finally leading to the bombing of atom. But anyway, I'll try to do it, okay, with the help of you only, you students only, I'll do it. Okay, right. Now, see, you know that two great wars took place in 20th century, namely the First World War and the Second World War. And of course, you also know that the climax of the culmination of the Second World War is, okay, dropping the atom bombs and Japan by America. Okay, right. So starting from the First World War and towards, starting from the First World War, at the end of the Second World War, you find this, bombing of atom bombs. You have to know the historical developments right from the beginning of the First World War. Then only you can understand what happened in Second World War and finally leading to the atom bombing. Okay, right. Now, see, the First World War took place between 1914 and 1918. Okay, right. So I request the students who are, listening to it, to just to note down the important points. Otherwise, you can't, say get when I go into the deeper part of the, historical developments. So the first one is that the First World War broke out in 1914 and ended in 1918. Okay, when you talk about a war, there will be two sides. No, okay, right. Similarly, even in First World War also, okay, there are two sides. Okay, on the one side is called Allied powers. Allied, A-L-L-I-E-D, Allied powers. Okay, on one side there were Allied powers. On the other side, you have Central powers. Okay, so the First World War was fought between Allied powers and Central powers. Okay, right. So who came under Allied powers? Under the Allied powers, I would like you to note down, okay, England, France, Russia, America, Greece, Yugoslavia, like that. So if you can write the first 3 or 4, that is enough. So on Allied powers, on the side of Allied powers, you have England, you have France, you have Russia, you have America. Okay, right. Now let us go to the other side of it. That is the Central powers you have. On Central powers you have, I want you to write down Germany, okay, Austria, Italy, Bulgaria, Turkey, and so on and so forth. If you can write 3 or 4, that is enough. Basically, mainly, you have to write Germany, Austria, Italy, Turkey. Okay, right. So on and so forth. So these are the two sides that fought during the Second World War. Okay, don't be under the impression that when I say World War, somebody is interfering. Yeah. Don't be under the impression that when I say that World War means, don't be under the impression that the entire world is participating in the war. No, it's not like that. Only a few countries have participated, but the war spread over to the most of the parts of the world. That is why it is called World War. Because the happening of the war took place in most of the parts of the world. That is why we call it World War, not because that every country in the world have participated either on either of the sides. No, it's not like that. Okay, right. So the most important reason for the outbreak of First World War, I'm still talking about First World. I haven't come to the second part. Okay, right. The most important point of the First World War is, I should say without any, without any partiality or without any bias, okay, that Germany was the most important nation that caused the First World War. Okay, what is wrong with Germany is, Germany is basically a war nation. Okay, there was a saying in Germany that war is the national industry of Germany. Okay, right? You must have seen so many, I mean, say in geography or in some other things, right? You will be talking about, right, what is the, say main product in that country, what is the main industry in this country, or what is the main agricultural product in that country, like that. But have you ever heard this word? Okay, what is the national industry of Prussia? I mean, that is German. German's earlier name was Prussia. Okay, and the Germans are basically, okay, people who believed in might is right. Okay, right. So they always wanted to prove themselves as a superior race. And they believed in what is known as what you call in Darwin theory of evolution, the survival of the fittest. That means, right, who is formidable, who is mighty, okay, right, who has the power, who has the energy, who has the stamina, strength, will only survive. And he is, by virtue of his might, right, he is, they thought that, that he can win over the other countries. So this attitude of Germany, in fact, led other countries, okay, right, say antagonistic against, Germany. Okay, the aggressive attitude of Germany prior to the First World War made, okay, right, the countries like England, France, Russia, so on and so forth, come together. In fact, right, there was no friendship between England, France, Russia, okay, or America. There was no friendship, in fact, before the First World War. You understand my point? It was the aggressive attitude of Germany that made others join together. It's okay, right? So and what was that aggressive attitude that made England, France, and other countries to join together? So do you remember? I told you that where are this England, France, Russia, America, okay, all these countries, in which part they are there? They are on the Allied powers. They are on the opposite side of Germany. Okay, right. So the aggressive attitude of Germany finally made these countries come together. In fact, right, England, France, all these two countries, they are they were the imperialistic nations. They were ruling the entire world, in fact, including India. So India was under the control of England. Okay, most of the Asian countries, you have to remember this point. Most of the Asian countries, before the First World War and even after the First World War, they were under the sovereignty of England and France. Most of the Asian and African countries. Okay, right. Okay, right, leave it that. So, finally, the First World War broke out and it went on for 4 years. And finally, the Allied powers, okay, have won over the Central powers, that is the England, France, Russia, America. They have won over, okay, right, Germany, Austria, Bulgaria, etc., etc. Okay, right. So what now I have come. I have come to the end of the First World War. Okay, so Germany, at the end of the First World War, Germany is defeated. And there was a treaty called Treaty of Versailles. Okay, right. Versailles was the royal palace, okay, of France. Okay, so there was a treaty between the Allied powers and Germany, where Germany was put to, okay, a lot of subjugation. Germany was put to a lot of, say, degradation also. Okay, Germany was asked to come there, and Germans went there, and they were to, they had to sign a very, very undesirable treaty for them. Okay, in that treaty, Germany had lost all its empire. Germany, whatever Germany had acquired before First World War. Okay, so the treaty that was concluded as a result of First World War, in that treaty, Germany had to lose everything. Everything. Okay, it was reduced to almost a small kingdom. Okay, apart from taking away all its empire, okay, it was inflicted by a large war indemnity. A huge compensation was levied on Germany. Okay, so he had lost its empire, and adding fuel to fire, it had to pay a lot of, huge amount of compensation also. Okay, when Germany was asked to do these two things, the then English Prime Minister Lloyd George said one thing. So this is most, it's not desirable, this is not right. You cannot have both flesh and milk from the same cow, he said. So we have taken away its entire empire. Okay, and still we are asking Germany to pay a lot of war indemnity. It is not advisable, because a cow cannot give flesh and milk at the same time. No cow. If you want to have its flesh, you have to kill it, you have to eat it. If you want to have its milk, you should allow it to live. So Germany was neither was allowed to do it. And okay, right, this humiliation of Germany led to, this is the first cause for the Second World War. Okay, now I shift to Second World War. See, Second World War broke out again between two sides. Okay, on one side, I would like you to write down almost the same title, Allied Powers, which you have written on in First World War. You put that same heading, Allied Powers, and you write the first four same countries under Allied Powers, namely England, France, Russia, and America. So almost the Allied Powers that fought in the First World War remained same for the Second World War also. Okay, right. Now you come to the second part of it. You have to change the name now. During the First World War, we called them Central Powers. Now we are calling them Axis Powers. AXIS powers. I think I'm going only in English. Okay. See, for the benefit of 80% of the Telugu medium students, okay, వాటిని మొదటి ప్రపంచ యుద్ధంలో మిత్ర రాజ్యాలు, కేంద్ర రాజ్యాలు అంటారు. సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో, రెండవ ప్రపంచ యుద్ధంలో మిత్ర రాజ్యాలు, అక్షరాజ్యాలు అని అంటారు. సో అండర్ ది యాక్సిస్ పవర్స్, okay, you have Germany, okay, Italy, and Japan. Here comes Japan during the Second World War. Okay, right. To your astonishment, I would like to tell you, if you can add, where was, so the Germany is there, Italy is there, and now which country has joined now? Japan has joined now. And with regard to that second country, that is Italy, there is something to be discussed, which I cannot now. Okay, but it is there. It was there in the right Axis powers during the Second World War. With regard to First World War, there was some change. In fact, it was there in the Central Powers, but later on it shifted to Allied Powers. Okay, right. So during the Second World War, you have two sides. One is Allied Powers and the other is Axis powers. Under the Axis powers, you have Germany, Italy, and Japan. Okay, so this broke out in 1935 and went up to 1945. And finally ended with the atom bombing on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the industrial cities of Japan. Okay, right. Somebody is intervening and disturbing. Some photo of a couple is appearing on my screen.
Very nice.
The technician, would you please?
Mute yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sir, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, again it is appearing, it is disturbing. Okay. So, okay. Right.
Sir, please unmute yourself. You have also been muted. Okay, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, so I'm talking about Second World War. So the main cause for the Second World War was the humiliation faced by Germany at the end of First World War. Okay, so that in fact led to a feeling that aroused a feeling of vengeance. A feeling of vengeance has aroused in Germany, which led to a concept called extreme nationalism. Here you have to understand this. Okay, within a short time I'll be getting into Japan. Okay, so if you want to get into Japan, you have to understand Germany well, and to some extent Italy also. Then only you can go into the Japan, and finally circumstances leading to the atom bomb. Okay, so after the First World War, in Germany, the concept of extreme nationalism had developed under the leadership of Hitler, Herr Hitler. See, what is this extreme nationalism? You know what is nationalism, no? Right, Meeku. Jatiyata, Jatiya Bhavam anantam manam. A Jatiya Bhavam ante emto telusu. Germanylo emaindi anante adi తీవ్ర జాతీయ భావంగా పరిణామం చెందింది. So nationalism, okay, right, had developed into extreme nationalism. Okay, loving one's own nation is nationalism. That everybody knows. మన జాతిని మనం ప్రేమించుకుంటే దాన్ని మనం జాతీయ భావం అంటాం. Okay, people living in this particular territory, having one history, having one culture, we all belong to one nation and ours is one nationality. Okay, this is what the definition of nationality goes, or nationalism goes. Okay, right. But no, right, ఇది దీన్ని మనం జాతీయ భావం అని అంటాం. అంటే నా దేశం, నా జాతి, నా సంస్కృతి, my country, my nation, my culture. This is nationalism. Okay, but what is extreme nationalism? What is extreme nationalism is, you know, right? Right. So it is only my country. It is only my culture. It is only my nation. There's a lot of difference between my nation, my culture, my country. From it is only my country, it is only my nation. అంటే తెలుగులో చెప్పాలి అని అంటే నా దేశం నా జాతి అంటే జాతీయత, నాదే దేశం నాదే జాతి అంటే what does it mean? Okay, others are not country, I mean say others are not people, others are not nationalities, others are not countries. It is only a nation means it is only my nation. That means my nation is supreme over other nationalities, over other nations. This is what is called extreme nationalism. This was developed in Germany. Okay, I told you, once it was war was the national industry of Germany. Now that concept or that situation has developed into extreme nationalism during what I call Hitler's tenure. And this led to break all the restrictions that was imposed on Germany during, as a result of First World War, have been completely broke out by Hitler. And he had followed a policy of severe aggression and went on annexing nation after nation he went on. And there was another part in Germany, in Germany also. That was, supremacy of the race. And Germans, they thought that, they belong to Aryan race. They belong to Aryan race. And Aryan race, they thought that, Aryan race was destined to rule the entire world. See, normally, right, Aryans are, German, anatomically, the Germans are very tall personalities with broad shoulders, okay, with yellow in color, with blue eyes, very hefty personalities. Okay, if you can, you can differentiate between a German and a French, you can differentiate between a German and English also. Germans are very hefty personalities. And they thought that they belong to a supreme race, okay, which are destined only to rule the entire world. So such thoughts, right, such ideologies have developed in Germany, and that led to a lot of aggrandizement. And similar, if not the racial supremacy, the extreme nationalism has entered into Italy also under the leadership of Benito Mussolini. He thought that, so see, he thought that they were, I won't go into the details of Italy. It takes a lot of time. Okay, but so Italy under the leadership of Benito Mussolini was also following the footsteps of Hitler. There was also extreme nationalism. They have also annexed Abyssinia. They have annexed Albania, whatnot. Even if you come to Germany, they have annexed Austria, they have annexed Rhineland, they have annexed Czechoslovakia, they have annexed Munich, they have annexed Memel, and finally entered into Poland also. Okay, so that type of aggrandizement were going on. Yeah, now we take up Japan here. So the actual, our point of discussion is finally what led America to drop atom bombs on Japan. Okay. Now this Japan is in which side this Japan is there in Second World War? It is there in the Axis powers. Okay, right. So where is this Japan? Okay, you all know that Japan is there, is an Asian country. Okay, It is a congregation of 7 islands lying in Pacific Ocean, very small country. Okay, so it's I mean all the 7 are islands. 7 parts of Japan are islands, of course. On the western part of it, you have China, you have Korea, you have all Indonesian countries, including Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and almost to the southern part of it, you have Burma, I mean, that is Myanmar. Okay, so many other East Asian countries. And of course, India also is there. Okay, so Japan is in fact, considering its width, and it's a very small country. Okay, in fact, the most ancient, culturally developed countries of Asia are India and China, or China and India. They are the biggest, they are the bigger countries, and they are the countries having ancient culture. Okay, right. So the bigger countries are both this India and China. Okay, when compared to these two, Japan is much smaller country, small in size, small in culture, everything is small. But okay, Japan, in fact, during the second part of the 19th century, okay, there was a great cultural, political, social, cultural, and economic transformation took place in Japan, which is called Meiji transformation. Meiji transformation ani antaru danni. Second part of 19th century lo Japan chinna desamaina sare oka goppa samskaranatmakaమైన మార్పులు జరిగాయి. Okay, so they have started learning from Western countries ఇలా అభివృద్ధి చెందాయో గమనించిన జపాన్ వాళ్ళను అనుకరిస్తూ వాళ్ళలాగా అభివృద్ధి చెందడం ప్రారంభమైంది. So being a Asian country, Japan had adopted the methods of Western countries in developing its. Okay, right. To develop itself, it can adopt the measures of the Western countries. There is no problem. Okay, but even in imperialistic ideology also, it had started imitating the West. You know what is imperialism? మనం తెలుగులో సామ్రాజ్యవాదము అని అంటాం. అంటే తనను తాను ఆంతరంగికంగా అభివృద్ధి పరుచుకోవడానికి జపాన్ పాశ్చాత్య దేశాలని అనుకరించండి అని అంటే పెద్ద తప్పేమీ లేదు. కానీ సామ్రాజ్యవాదంలో కూడా అది పాశ్చాత్య దేశాలని అనుకరించడం మొదలుపెట్టింది. సామ్రాజ్యవాదము అంటే ఏమిటి అని అంటే నీ రాజ్యంతో, నీ దేశంతో, నీ జాతితో నువ్వు సంతృప్తి చెందకుండా ఇతర రాజ్యాలను ఆక్రమించాలి అనే తత్వం. నీ జాతిని, నీ సంస్కృతిని ఇతర రాజ్యాలను ఆక్రమించుకొని వాటిని విలీనం చేసుకోవడం ద్వారా నిన్ను నువ్వు విస్తరింపజేసుకోవాలనుకునే తత్వం ఉందే, దిస్ ఇస్ కాల్డ్ ఇంపీరియలిజం. Imperialism is not, it is a policy not to be confined with one's own nation or nationality or nationalism. Okay, one who goes on conquering and annexing other countries, other nationalities, it is called imperialism. For example, England is an imperialistic country. France was an imperialistic nation. Spain was an imperialist nation. Okay, because England was imperialistic, they have conquered India. You understand? Okay, because France was, imperialistic nation, it had conquered so many African countries. Because Spain was an imperialistic nation, entire Latin America had come into its control. But you know, it was not the method, it was not the policy of Asian countries. Asian countries never was imperialistic. India was not imperialistic. China, though it is so big a country, it was never an imperialistic country. But even before the First World War, Japan had started its imperialistic designs. Since it had entered into that imperialistic method, it had joined the other two imperialistic nations, namely Germany and Italy. Now you understand my point. Why these three countries have come to have come onto one side? Because all the three countries are imperialistic in nature. Not only imperialistic. Okay, right. So they are extreme nationalistic. Extreme nationalistic. All the three. I should say that point, not imperialistic. At the outset, I should say all the three are extreme nationalistic. Okay, right. To tell you, there was a Nazism in Germany. There was a fascism in Italy. There was a militarism in Japan. Okay, right. So Japan's slogan was something interesting. You should certainly get this point. Unless you get this point, you can't understand the last phase. Japan has raised the slogan of Asia for Asians. You understand my point? Japan is an Asian country. Okay, we Indians, Chinese, I told you, no? Koreans, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, all these things. These are all East Asian countries. See, even including Sri Lanka, Burma, all these things, you know. ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఇవన్నీ ఇప్పుడు మనం మాట్లాడుతున్న సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ టైంకి they were under whose sovereignty or all these countries were? All these countries, you know, and they were under the imperialism of European countries, namely England, France, and others. So what Japan tried to do is, that is particularly during the Second World War, okay, it wanted to replace, Japan imperialism with European imperialism. I don't know how many of you have got this point. అంటే ఏషియాలో ఏముంది? ఐరోపా రాజ్యాల ఆధిపత్యంలో ఏషియా రాజ్యాలు ఉన్నాయి. ఆ ఐరోపా రాజ్యాల ఆధిపత్యాన్ని తుడిచిపెట్టి జపాన్ వాంటెడ్ టు బికమ్ ఏ సుప్రీం పవర్ ఓవర్ ది ఏషియన్ కంట్రీస్. ఇది సిచ్యువేషన్. ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్ లో సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ హ్యాస్ కమ్ టు అన్ ఎండ్. సో అంటే ఇక్కడ మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏమిటి అని అంటే, సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ ఎవరెవరికి మధ్య జరుగుతోంది? ఒకవైపున, రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నాను, ఒకవైపున ఇంగ్లాండ్ ఉంది, ఫ్రాన్స్ ఉంది, అమెరికా ఉంది, రష్యా ఉంది. రెండో వైపున జర్మనీ ఉంది, ఇటలీ ఉంది, జపాన్ ఉంది. 39లో వరల్డ్ వార్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది. ప్రపంచం అంతా యుద్ధం, అన్ని పార్ట్స్ లో యుద్ధం జరుగుతోంది. ఓకే, సో మొదటి అర్ధభాగం అయిపోయింది. ఇంకా 1943 నుంచి యాక్సిస్ పవర్స్ బలహీన పడడం మొదలైంది. అంటే ఏది? జర్మనీ, ఇటలీ అండ్ జపాన్. జపాన్ కాదు, జర్మనీ, ఇటలీ ముఖ్యంగా. ఇందులో ఫస్ట్ 1943లో ఇటలీ మొదట ఓడిపోయింది. ఇటలీ చేతులు ఎత్తేసింది. ఎలాంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో చేతులు ఎత్తేసింది? ఆ నేపథ్యంలో ది డిక్టేటర్ ఆఫ్ ఇటలీ, బెనిటో ముస్సోలిని, వాజ్ షాట్ డెడ్ బై హిజ్ ఓన్ సోల్జర్స్. అంటే వాడి అగ్రెండైజ్మెంట్ ని తట్టుకోలేక అతని సైనికులే అతన్ని కాల్చి చంపేశారు, బెనిటో ముస్సోలిని. సో ఇటలీ డ్రాప్డ్. ఇంకా 2 మిగిలాయి. ఒకటి జర్మనీ, 2 జపాన్. Germany was under the leadership of course, Hitler. Okay, so Hitler went on fighting. Okay, and Japan helped him. And finally, 1945 June వచ్చేటప్పటికి మనం వచ్చేసాం. చూడండి, 1945 జూన్కి వచ్చేసాం. 1945 జూన్కి వచ్చాము అని అంటే 1945 జూన్, జూలై, ఆగస్ట్ 6th and August 9th, 2 atom bombs. And we are just 2 months away from bombing. So ఆ సమయం వచ్చేటప్పటికి it went on what to call జర్మనీ చేతులు ఎత్తేసింది. అన్ని వైపుల నుంచి ఎలీడ్ పవర్స్ జర్మనీలోకి ఎంటర్ అయిపోయాయి. ఒకవైపు నుంచి రష్యా ఎంటర్ అయింది, ఇంకోవైపు నుంచి ఇంగ్లాండ్, అమెరికా ఎంటర్ అయిపోయాయి. అలాంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో హిట్లర్ హ్యాడ్ కమిటెడ్ సూయిసైడ్, లీవింగ్ హిజ్ ఓన్ కంట్రీ టు ది ఎలీడ్ పవర్స్. సో జర్మనీ అవుట్. ఇంకెవరు మిగిలారు? జపాన్ ఒకటి మిగిలింది. సో హ్యావింగ్ లాస్ట్ ది 2 allies, 2 very important friends, Japan would have come to a conclusion, would have come to treaty, would have concluded a treaty at that point of time. Had Japan done that, the bombing of atom bombing would not have taken place. But Japan, what we call very, చాలా మొండిగా అంటాం కదా మనం, very obstinate we call it, very obstinately continued the war. Not just continuing the war, but ఇక్కడ మీరు అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏమిటి అని అంటే, even at this point of time also, Japan was trying to replace the European imperialistic power with its own power. అంటే ఏషియాలో ఉన్న ఒక్కొక్క కంట్రీని ఆక్యుపై చేస్తూ వెళ్ళింది జపాన్. I think my time is coming out. How long I can continue?
No, sir, you can continue. You can continue.
So I'll conclude by 4:30.
Yeah, sir. You can go beyond that also.
No, that will be enough, I think. Okay, right. So what was Japan? Was trying by that time means he was aggressing, and he was marching forward, annexing one country after the other. Students, if you know Indian national movement, I'll tell you one interesting thing. At this point of time, Japan also tried to annex India. They wanted to conquer India. Why? Because we were under the control of England, and England was fighting with the Japan, and we automatically came under the animosity of Japan, and Japan invaded India. The northeastern part, they have conquered Myanmar and entered into India. Have you ever heard that? I think you have heard the name of Quit India movement. క్విట్ ఇండియా మూవ్మెంట్ అని విన్నారు కదా మీరు.
Sir, let me interrupt you, sir.
ఓకే.
Today is 9th August 19. So it was in 1942, the same day, sir.
August 8th, yesterday. Yesterday only. And today it started actually.
Yeah, it started. So
Yeah, this is a Quit India Day also. Okay, right. Really, thank you. So, క్విట్ ఇండియా మూమెంట్ రావడానికి కూడా ఇదే కారణం. అంటే అప్పటికి ఏం జరుగుతోంది అని అంటే, ఇంగ్లాండ్ వాస్ ఫెయిలింగ్ టు control Japan, and it was failing to stop Japan entering into India. It was facing a lot of difficulties. They were fighting in India, they were fighting in Asian part, they were fighting in Europe, they were fighting in Africa. సో ఇన్నిటితో ఫైట్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే ఇంగ్లాండ్ జపాన్ ఇండియాలో ఎంటర్ కాకుండా చేయడంలో విఫలమైంది. అప్పుడు గాంధీ ఏమన్నాడు అని అంటే, యు సేవ్ ఇండియా ఫ్రమ్ ది ఇంట్రూషన్ ఆఫ్ జపాన్ ఆర్ యు క్విట్ ఇండియా. అది దట్ వాజ్ ది స్లోగన్. ఎయిదర్ యు సేవ్ ఇండియా, నీకు చేతనైతే వాడు రాకుండా, లోపలికి రాకుండా మమ్మల్ని సేవ్ చేయి, లేదు నువ్వు క్విట్ ఇండియా, దెన్ ఇట్ విల్ బి వార్ బిట్వీన్ జపాన్ అండ్ ఇండియా అండ్ వీ విల్ టేక్ కేర్. అప్పుడు అసలు జపాన్ ఇన్వైట్ చేస్తుందో చేయదో, బికాస్ యు ఆర్ అవర్ మాస్టర్స్, జపాన్ ఈజ్ ఇన్వైడింగ్ అస్. అది పాయింట్ అనమాట 42లో ఇష్యూ ఇది. సో జర్మనీ, ఇటలీ లాంటి బలమైన దేశాలు, హేమాహిమీలైన దేశాలు యుద్ధం నుంచి విరమించుకున్న తర్వాత కూడా జపాన్ తన ఇంపీరియలిస్టిక్ డిజైన్స్ మార్చుకోకుండా ఏషియాలో ఇట్ వెంట్ ఆన్ టు ఈ పర్టికులర్ పాయింట్ లో ఇండో చైనా మీద దాడి చేసి ఇండో చైనాను ఆక్యుపై చేసే ప్రయత్నం చేసింది. ఓకే, రైట్. సో ఇది ఒక, అంటే చాలా ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి. వై సో ఇది అండర్ దీస్ సర్కమ్స్టాన్సెస్ జపాన్ వాజ్ గివెన్, ఏమంటాం, జపాన్కి హెచ్చరికలు చేశారు. ఓకే, ఇట్ వాజ్ గివెన్ వార్నింగ్స్ టు కమ్ టు కంక్లూజన్, టు కమ్ టు కంక్లూడ్ ఎ ట్రీటీ, టు కమ్ టు టర్మ్స్ విత్ ది ఎలీట్ పవర్స్. ఓకే, బట్ జపాన్ డిడ్ నాట్ హియర్. ఓకే, and under these circumstances, the elite powers thought, and particularly America thought that some shock treatment has to be given to Japan, otherwise Japanese are not going to stop. So this most great decision, great in the sense, it was not great, it was not humanitarian. Okay, but a decision that changed the approach of the mankind, the entire world, was taken by the American President Truman. Truman has the then American President. Okay, he was into power just a few months ago. Until then, Frederick F.D. Roosevelt was the American President. Okay, so and once Roosevelt went off, and Truman came, Truman has taken a very drastic decision. Okay, to give some shock treatment to Japan. Okay, on July 26th, July 26th was made the last date for, the date that was given to Japan to come to terms was July 26th. So they were asked to come down to treaty by July 26th. Okay, if they don't respond positively, okay, they were warned that they are going to face some severe consequences. Okay, even that July 26th has also gone, and Japan has not come down. And on August 2nd and 3rd, okay, so in most of the Japanese cities, lakhs and lakhs of pamphlets were they were thrown on Japanese many cities that Japan is going to face a severe attack. Okay, unless it comes to terms, and there was no response for that, and of course Japan was it took it lightly, and finally on August 6th, okay, right, the atom bomb, it was, when Ganesh was telling, these two names, the little boy and the fat man, they are named after, say, the little boy, in fact, the little boy was dropped on Hiroshima on August 6th. Okay, and 3 days later, the fat man, the name of the atom bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki was the fat man. So the fat man was dropped on August 9th. And what devastation, say, it resulted. I think you must have heard, you must have seen. Okay, right. So just as a result of one atom bomb, as a result of one atom bomb that is on Hiroshima, okay, within no time, 80,000 men and women, children were killed. 80,000 killed. And the same number of people were affected. And you know that the atomic energy, or the atomic, the result of the atomic, the consequences of atomic, blasting will last for generations together. It won't, somebody dying on that day and somebody injuring and dying after 10 days, or it's not like that. Okay, if you consume the what, I don't know the technical words, right? If you consume that anudhuli, we call it, no? Anudhulini manam పీల్చినప్పుడు అది శరీరంలోకి వెళ్ళి అది మన నుంచి మన తర్వాత తరానికి ఇలా ఫర్ జనరేషన్స్ టుగెదర్, it is going to affect the health of the people. And really, even today also, even today you find some children affected by this atomic blasting are being given birth in Japan. Okay, right. The man, right, who piloted the Hiroshima blasting was Claude Etherly, was the pilot who blasted in Hiroshima, and the pilot who did the job at Nagasaki was Charles Sweeney. Of course, many others are there. These two names are normally found. And particularly with Hiroshima's, the pilot who blasted that atom bomb, right? Later on, he repented very much. Having thought that, having understood that he was responsible, and if not, of course, the government takes decision, but he was made the instrument, no? He was the man who finally dropped it, and he became, he was he was repented. Okay, and that what I learned from other sources, right? Finally, right, he had gone mad also, if I'm not wrong. Where did I read? I just don't remember, but I read that in the later stages, that he started repenting, but finally, having understood that he was responsible for the death of thousands of people, okay, and he had gone mad. Okay, finally, Japan had come to terms. General MacArthur of and American armies, okay, General MacArthur was on one side, he was there. Okay, on the other, you find Lord Mountbatten also. Lord Mountbatten, who was the last Governor General, who was the last Viceroy of India, okay, was none other than the Supreme Commander of Allied Powers in Asia. ఏషియాలో ఎలీడ్ పవర్స్ సుప్రీం కమాండర్ గా పనిచేశాడు అతను. ఓకే, బట్ ఫైనలీ ఇట్ వాస్ జనరల్ మెకార్థర్ ది అమెరికన్ military general, who finally took over Japan into his hands. and the American armies remained there for about few more years. Okay, and of course, Japan had concluded terms with America. Okay, so this is how we should say the Japan was obstinate enough. Of course, you can't deny it. But that America would not have bombarded atom bombs on Japan. Okay, which is very inhuman, which is very barbaric. Okay, right? చాలా అనాగరికమైన చర్య అది. అంతమంది మనుషుల్ని, అంటే కేవలం అది తనకు లొంగి రాలేదు అని ఒకే ఒక్క కారణం చేత ఆటం బాంబు ప్రయోగించడం అనేది మానవజాతి విజ్ఞతలోనే అది ఒక మాయను మచ్చగా మిగిలిపోయింది. అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇంకా చాలా there are so many aspects to be dealt with, but anyway, this is how the things led to the atom bombing of Allied powers on Japan. Okay, and there are so many things to left, and if you have any queries, I don't mind say responding. Okay, and so I thank once again Dr. Tirupanyam and other Dr. Srimati Karunasri Garu and others for giving me this opportunity to share a few of my
Thank you so much,
thoughts on
sir.
this.
Really
Okay.
inspiring lecture. We have connected even India also with World War II.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your renowned presentation. Dear participants, please ask your queries, if any. Dear participants, please ask your queries. Sir is ready to clarify your queries.
Please raise your hands. Or else,
hello,
you can now unmute yourself. And
hello,
ask your question. Yes,
sir,
you can go ahead.
sir, sir, good evening, sir. Kopparti garu, good evening, sir.
Yes,
hello,
sir, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, Kopparti sir, good evening. He's not responding, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Right. Yes, Chapandi.
sir, I'm Dr. Krishna Prasad from Jawahar Bharati, Kavali.
Oh, Krishna Prasad garu, namaste. How are you?
Oh, sir.
Bagunara?
Sir, nice to see you on webinar.
Thank you.
It's a very excellent presentation. I also became a student of you.
ఇట్స్ ఓన్లీ కాదు, మీలాంటి వాళ్ళు విన్నారు అని అంటే నేను ఇంకా కొంచెం జాగ్రత్తగా చెప్పుకునేవాడిని. I don't know that you are in the
No, we have to learn from you. Forever. Sir, for the sake of students, I am asking one thing.
Sir, చెప్పండి.
That is the incident of Pearl Harbor.
అదొకటే మిస్ అయ్యాను నేను. చెప్పండి.
Right. Just you explain.
ఇదే నేను చివరిలో కూడా చెప్పబోయి ఇంకా 4:30 అయిపోయిందిలేని ఆగాను. అదే అసలు విషయం ఏంటి అని అంటే, అమెరికా జపాన్ మీద ఆటం బాంబు దాడి చేయడానికి మూల కారణం అంతకు ముందు 1941లో యుద్ధం ప్రారంభ దశలో ఉన్నప్పుడు జపాన్నే అమెరికాను రెచ్చగొట్టి యుద్ధంలోకి ప్రవేశించేటట్లు చేసింది. ఓకే, అప్పటిదాకా అంటే 1939లో యుద్ధం ప్రారంభమైన 1941 డిసెంబర్ 7th నాడు జపాన్ పెరల్ హార్బర్ మీద దాడి చేసే వరకు కూడా అమెరికా యుద్ధంలోకి ప్రవేశించలేదు. అది ఒక యుద్ధ బేహారీగా ఉంది. హాయిగా మనం ఇద్దరు పొట్లాడుకుంటూ ఉంటే రెండు పక్షాల మధ్య గొడవ జరుగుతూ ఉంటే అక్కడ సోడాలు అమ్ముకోవడానికి వస్తాడు చూడండి, అట్లాగా అట్లాగా రైట్ యుద్ధ పరికరాలు రెండు పక్షాలకి ఎవడు అడిగితే వాడికి అమ్ముకుంటూ కూర్చుంది అమెరికా. అలాంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఇక్కడ మధ్య యాక్చువల్ గా జరిగింది ఏమిటి అని అంటే, జపాన్ రెండవ ప్రపంచ యుద్ధం ప్రారంభం కావడానికి ముందు నుంచే ఇట్ వాజ్ ఇన్ వార్ విత్ చైనా. అది యాక్చువల్ సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ బ్రేక్ అయ్యేటప్పటికే ఇట్ వాజ్ వార్ విత్ చైనా, చైనాతో యుద్ధంలో ఉంది. ఓకే, సో ఆ యుద్ధంలో యాక్చువల్ గా జపాన్ కి రెండవ ప్రపంచ యుద్ధంలో ప్రవేశించడం అనేది ఒక ప్రత్యేకమైన అంశం కాదు. ఇట్ వాజ్ ఎ కంటిన్యూస్ వార్ విత్ చైనా అండ్ లెటర్ ఆన్ విత్ ఎలిడ్ పవర్స్. సో ఇక్కడ చైనాని సేవ్ చేసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఎలిడ్ పవర్స్ కి, ముఖ్యంగా అమెరికాకి ఉంది. ఇప్పుడంటే అమెరికా చైనాల మధ్య బగ్గుమంటోంది కానీ, పచ్చగడ్డి వేస్తే బగ్గుమంటోంది కానీ ఉంది. కానీ అప్పటికి చైనాను జపాన్ బారి నుంచి రక్షించాల్సిన అవసరం అమెరికాకి ఉండింది. ఓకే, సో హవాయి దీవుల్లో, ఫిలిప్పైన్స్ హవాయి దీవుల్లో, పెరల్ హార్బర్ లో వీళ్ళ వార్ ఇది ఉండింది. ఓకే, రైట్. సో దాన్ని అంటే చైనా మీద ఉన్న కోపాన్ని ఇటువైపు తీర్చుకుంది జపాన్. ఓకే, సో 1941 డిసెంబర్ లో జపాన్ రెచ్చగొట్టి అమెరికాని యుద్ధంలోకి లాక్కొని వచ్చింది. ఆ కోపం అమెరికాకి లేకపోలేదు ఫైనల్ గా. రైట్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. నేను ముందు నుంచి అదే అనుకుంటున్నా, ఆ పాయింట్ ఎక్కడ ఇరికించినా అని చెప్పి చూస్తున్నాను కానీ ఇరికించలేకపోయా. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
రైట్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
సార్ నమస్తే
కృష్ణప్రసాద్.
సార్ నమస్తే.
సార్ నమస్తే అండి.
హలో సార్, నేను ఉమామహేశ్వరరావు సార్, మీ శిష్యుడిని.
ఉమామహేశ్వరరావు గారా?
సార్ యాక్చువల్ గా ఈ పెరల సార్ నమస్తే, భీమన్పట్నం సార్.
బాగున్నారా?
ఆదిత్య బాగున్నాను సార్, చాలా వండర్ఫుల్ వండర్ఫుల్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
సార్ యాక్చువల్ రెండు క్వశ్చన్స్ సార్. అంటే నాకు ఎప్పటి నుంచో ఒక డౌట్, ఇంత ముందే మిమ్మల్ని ఒకసారి కలిసి అది క్లారిఫై చేసుకుందాం అనుకున్నాను.
ఓకే,
ఫస్ట్ వార్ లో మనం తీసుకున్నట్లయితే రష్యా, ఇంగ్లాండ్, ఫ్రాన్స్, అమెరికా ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనకి అలైడ్ పవర్స్ లో ఉన్నాయి సార్. సెంట్రల్ పవర్స్ జర్మనీ, ఆస్ట్రియా, టర్కీ, హంగరీ, బల్గేరియా ఇవన్నీ ఒకవైపు ఉన్నాయి సార్.
ఉన్నాయి. ఇట్లీ గురించి అడుగుతారా
సార్? ఒకే పాయింట్ సార్. అయితే సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లోకి వచ్చేసరికి రష్యా అనేది మనం తీసుకున్నట్లయితే ఇటువైపు వచ్చింది సరే, అంటే ఏది మళ్ళీ అలైడ్ పవర్స్ వైపే వచ్చింది.
అవును,
రష్యా.
అవును.
కానీ మధ్యలో మనం తీసుకున్నట్లయితే ఈవెన్ మనకి ట్రీటీ ఆఫ్ వర్సల్స్ లో కానీ, ప్యారిస్ పీస్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ కానీ రష్యా వాజ్ నాట్ ఇన్వైటెడ్ సార్.
అవును,
రష్యా వాజ్ నాట్ ఇన్వైటెడ్.
అవును.
ఈవెన్ అండ్ డ్యూరింగ్ ద టైమ్ ఆఫ్ లెనిన్ ఆల్సో Russia has not having staunch relations with England, France, and some other countries, sir.
Avunu.
When Stalin became president of Russia,
avunu,
from then onwards he started having relations with these nations, sir.
Avunu.
అక్కడ కారణం ఏంటి సార్? అసలు కారణం ఏమంటారు సార్ గురువు గారు?
నేను చెప్తాను. అంటే ఇక్కడ నేను దీనిలోకి వెళ్ళబోయే ముందు అంటే ఎలాగా సంబంధాలు ఎలా మారతాయో ఒక చిన్న ఉదాహరణ చెప్తాను మీకు. నేను ఫస్ట్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో సెంట్రల్ పవర్స్ లో జర్మనీ, ఆస్ట్రియా, ఇటలీ, టర్కీ అని చెప్పాను ఊరికే. ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ యాక్చువల్ గా యుద్ధం స్టార్ట్ అయిన తర్వాత ఇటలీ సెంట్రల్ పవర్స్ నుంచి ఎలిడ్ పవర్స్ వైపు దూకింది.
అవును సార్.
ఓకే, ఊరికే చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అది.
అవును సార్.
రిలేషన్స్ ఎట్లా మారుతాయని చెప్పడానికి దూకింది. ఓకే, రైట్, తీసేయండి అది. ఇంకా ఉదాహరణ, ఇంకొక ఉదాహరణ చెప్తాను. నేను చెప్పలేదు, చెప్తే ఇంకా పిల్లలకి ఎక్కువ అయిపోతుందని చెప్పలా. ఫస్ట్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో జపాన్, ఫస్ట్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో ఉంది జపాన్.
అవును సార్, అలైడ్ పవర్స్
వైపు ఉంది.
అవును సార్.
ఫస్ట్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో ఎలిడ్ పవర్స్ వైపు ఉన్న జపాన్
అవును సార్.
సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఇటు వచ్చింది. ఓకే, రైట్. ఇటువైపుగా రావడానికి ప్రధానమైన కారణం ఏమిటి అని అంటే జపాన్ 2 ప్రపంచ యుద్ధాల మధ్య అది చేసిన సామ్రాజ్యవాద ఆక్రమణ. ఉదాహరణకి మంచూరియా.
అవును సార్,
మంచూరియాని ఆక్యుపై చేయడమే కదా మెయిన్ జపాన్ మంచూరియాని ఆక్యుపై చేయడం అనేది అది కీలకం. ఓకే, రైట్. తర్వాత జపాన్ కి రష్యాతో వైరుధ్యం అనేది మొదటి నుంచి ఉంది. ఇది ఒక పాయింట్. 1905 ది వార్ బిట్వీన్ డ్వార్ఫ్ అండ్ ది డ్రాగన్ గుర్తుంది కదా, ఉంది కదా, 1905 ఉంది. ఓకే, సరే, దాని అటు పక్కన పెట్టండి. ఇప్పుడు మీరు అడిగిన ప్రశ్న, కమ్యూనిస్ట్ రష్యా సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో ఎల్ఈడి పవర్స్ వైపుకి ఎట్లా వచ్చిందనేనా?
అవును సార్, అవును సార్.
వెరీ సింపుల్. ఇది ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్ ఏంటి అని అంటే, దిస్ ఇస్ వార్ ఆఫ్ ఐడియాలజీస్. ఏది సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్? దిస్ వాస్ ఎ వార్ బిట్వీన్ డెమోక్రసీస్ ఆన్ వన్ సైడ్ అండ్ డిక్టేటర్షిప్స్ ఆన్ ది అదర్ సైడ్. అంతే కదా? ఇంగ్లాండ్ డెమోక్రసీ, ఫ్రాన్స్ డెమోక్రసీ, అమెరికా డెమోక్రసీ. ఓకే, వేరాస్ ఈ యాక్సిస్ పవర్స్ 3 కూడా డిక్టేటర్సే కదా. జర్మనీలో డిక్టేటర్షిప్ ఉంది, ఇటలీలో డిక్టేటర్షిప్ ఉంది, మిలిటరిజం 3 డిక్టేటర్సే. ఓకే, జపాన్ కింగ్ ఇక్కడ డిక్టేటర్. సో మొదట యాక్చువల్ గా వార్ డెమోక్రసీస్ కిను డిక్టేటర్స్ కి మధ్య స్టార్ట్ అయింది. స్టార్ట్ అయినప్పుడు రష్యా న్యూట్రల్ గానే ఉంది. సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో బిగినింగ్ లో రష్యా న్యూట్రల్. అయితే ఎప్పుడు యాక్చువల్ గా అసలు ఇది యాక్చువల్ గా జర్మనీ, ఇటలీ, జపాన్ల మధ్య ఏర్పడిన ఆ యాక్సిస్ ఒప్పందాన్ని మనం యాంటీ కొమింటర్న్ ప్యాక్ట్ అంటాం కదా.
కమ్యూనిస్ట్ వ్యతిరేక ఒప్పందం.
అది కమ్యూనిస్ట్ వ్యతిరేక ఒప్పందం ఆ మూడింటి మధ్య. సో ఇవి 3 కమ్యూనిజం మీద దెబ్బతీయాలని చూస్తున్నాయి. ఓకే, సో కాబట్టి ఇనిషియల్ స్టేజ్ లో రష్యా వాజ్ న్యూట్రల్.
అవును సార్.
ఒక దశలో there was a treaty between Hitler and Stalin also, you know.
Yes sir.
Non-aggression pact ఉంది వాళ్ళిద్దరి మధ్య.
1939 నిర్యుద్ధ సంధి.
నిర్యుద్ధ సంధి ఉంది, మన ఇద్దరు యుద్ధం చేసుకోకూడదని ఉంది. సో దాంతో Russia was he kept himself aside.
అవును సార్.
But in the middle వీడి అగ్రెండైజ్మెంట్ రష్యన్ జపనీస్ హిట్లర్ అగ్రెండైజ్మెంట్ తీవ్ర రూపం దాల్చినప్పుడు వాడు పోలాండ్ ను ఆక్రమించిన తర్వాత హీ ఎంటర్డ్ ఇంటూ రష్యా. పోలాండ్ ను ఆక్యుపై చేసి పోలాండ్ నుంచి దూసుకుంటూ రష్యాలోకి ఎంటర్ అయ్యాడు.
Actually 2 things were needed sir by that time. One is wheat, second one is fuel.
Yes.
Germany needed 2 things by that time.
సో అక్కడ వాళ్ళు స్టాలిన్ గ్రాడ్ ని అటాక్ చేయడము, స్టాలిన్ గ్రాడ్ ని నిలబెట్టుకోవడానికి వాళ్ళు చాలా వీరోచితమైన పోరాటం చేయటము. సో ఫైనలీ వాళ్ళు రష్యా మీద విజయం సాధించడము, జర్మనీ మీద రష్యన్స్ విజయం సాధించడము, ఈ ప్రాసెస్ అంతా జరిగింది. ఇది ఇక్కడే ఇండియన్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ ఒకటి చెప్తాను చూడండి, మీరు అడగకపోయినా. ఒక చిన్న పాయింట్. సరిగ్గా ఇదే టైంలో ఇండియాలో క్విట్ ఇండియా మూవ్మెంట్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది.
అవును సార్. సోషలిస్ట్ ఇది కమ్యూనిస్ట్ నాట్ సపోర్టెడ్, అదే కదా.
ఇది రీజన్. ఇది రష్యా న్యూట్రల్ గా ఉన్నంత కాలము ఇండియాలో కమ్యూనిస్టులు యుద్ధాన్ని వ్యతిరేకించారు.
అవును సార్.
రష్యా మీద జర్మనీ యుద్ధం ప్రకటించి రష్యాతో యుద్ధం చేయాల్సి వచ్చేటప్పటికి ఇండియాలో కమ్యూనిస్టులు దీన్ని నియంతృత్వానికి వ్యతిరేకంగా జరుగుతున్న యుద్ధం కాబట్టి దీన్ని మనం సమర్థించాలి అని అన్నారు. అక్కడ వాళ్ళ మీద కొంత వ్యతిరేకత ఇండియాలో వచ్చింది. ఇది కాంటెక్స్ట్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. వన్ మోర్ డౌట్ అడగొచ్చా సార్? ఇంకొక డౌట్ ఉంది, అడగొచ్చా సార్? సార్ ఒక్క పాయింట్.
నాకు అభ్యంతరం లేదు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. సార్ ఇప్పుడు యాక్చువల్ గా ఇప్పుడు పెరల్ హార్బర్ ఇన్సిడెంట్ ఉంది కదా సార్, యాక్చువల్ విచ్ వాస్ హ్యాపెండ్ ఇన్ 1941 December 7th.
అవును.
దానికి కొన్ని అంటే డేవిడ్ థామ్సన్, సిజే చేసు హేజన్ ఈ బుక్స్ లో వాళ్ళు మెన్షన్ చేసినటువంటి అంశం ఏంటంటే మనకి ఏది మనకి అట్లాంటిక్ ట్రీటీ అనేది జరిగిన తర్వాత, అంటే అట్లాంటిక్ చార్టర్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసిన తర్వాత రూజ్వెల్ట్ విన్స్టన్ చర్చిల్ ఎఫ్డి రూజ్వెల్ట్ అన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళు అన్ని దేశాలకు కూడాను వీలున్నంత వరకు తొందరగా సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ క్లోజ్ చేయండి, మనం ఒక ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పీస్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ అనేది వరల్డ్ వైడ్ మనం ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేద్దామనేసి ఆయన చెప్పడము. అట్ ది సేమ్ టైం ఏంటంటే అప్ టు అంతవరకు కూడా అమెరికా అనేది రా ఐరన్ అనేది జపాన్ కి సరఫరా చేస్తుండేది. సడన్లీ అమెరికా స్టాప్ సెండింగ్ టు రా జపాన్. దట్ వాస్ ద మెయిన్ రీజన్ ఫర్ ది డ్రాపింగ్ ఆఫ్ పెరల్ హార్బర్
అదే ఎకనమిక్ రిలేషన్స్ తారుమారైపోవడం అంతే. ఎస్ సర్టన్లీ.
ఇక లాస్ట్ పాయింట్ సార్
చెప్పండి.
ఇంకో పాయింట్ ఆయన ఏం మెన్షన్ చేశారంటే 1945 April 30th హిట్లర్ అన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళు ఆయన సూసైడ్ చేసుకున్నారు. May 7th వెళ్ళేసరికి జర్మనీ క్యాపిటల్ అయినటువంటి బెర్లిన్ అనేది కంప్లీట్ గా రష్యా ఆక్యుపై చేసింది. రష్యా అంటే ఇమీడియట్ గానీ రష్యా వాజ్ వెరీ ఫాస్ట్లీ రషింగ్ టు ఆక్యుపై జపాన్. సో ఇన్ ది మెయిన్ వైల్ 1945 మార్చ్ అయ్యేసరికి మనకి ఎఫ్డి రూజ్వెల్ట్ అన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళ ప్రెసిడెంట్షిప్ నుంచి బయటకు వచ్చేసి హారీ ట్రూమన్ రావడం జరిగింది. సో హారీ ట్రూమన్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఈ జపాన్ ఆక్రమించినటువంటి క్రెడిట్ అనేది రష్యాకి దక్కకూడదు అనే ఉద్దేశంతోనే న్యూ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ అమెరికా బై నేమ్ హారీ ట్రూమన్ ఇమీడియట్లీ హార్డెడ్ ఎయిర్ ఫోర్స్ అథారిటీస్ టు డ్రాప్ ఎ బాంబ్ ఆన్ జపాన్ టు కాన్ఫర్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్లేసెస్ అండ్ కాన్ఫర్ జపాన్ అనేసి ఒక
అయ్యుండొచ్చు. అంటే కొంచెం లోపలికి వెళుతూ ఉంటే ఇలాంటివి చాలా బయటకు వస్తూ ఉంటాయి. వెరీ నైస్ ఉమామహేశ్వర గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ నైస్.
ఓకే సార్, ఎనీ క్వరీస్ ప్లీజ్. Sir, principal sir, shall we conclude it?
Okay, sir. Okay. If another one has raised hand.
Yeah.
Please, Srinivas Rao. Would you like to interact with this person?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, Andy.
Sir, principal garu, meeku government degree maadi nenu JLN history Pedapadu West Godavari sir.
Okay.
సార్ మీరు ఏలూరు ప్రిన్సిపల్ గా ఉన్నప్పుడు కాలేజ్ చాలా డెవలప్మెంట్ చేశారు సార్.
ఓకే
సార్, అప్పుడు మీరు వేసిన పునాది ఇప్పటి వరకు కూడా కాలేజ్ చాలా గ్రోత్ పెరుగుతానే ఉంది సార్.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఏదేమైనా తక్కువ టైంలో మాకు ఎక్కువ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ చేశారు సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yes, anybody else, sir? Any queries, sir?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Andy.
Please continue.
Good evening, sir. I am Dr. Ghulam Hussain, Usmania College, Kurnool నుండి.
Okay.
Sir, excellent session, sir. చాలా చక్కగా చెప్పారు. సార్, మీన్ వైల్ ఈ జపాన్ ఇండియాపైకి దాడి చేయడానికి సుభాష్ చంద్రబోస్ పాత్ర ఎంతవరకు ఉంది కాస్త చెప్పగలిగితే బాగుంటుందని.
నేనంటే ఇంకా అది దాంట్లోకి వెళితే మన మెయిన్ పర్పస్ డిఫీట్ అవుతుందని ఆ ఇష్యూలోకి నేను వెళ్ళలేదు. ఇది కొంచెం లోతుగా మాట్లాడాల్సిన అంశం అయినా సరే మీరు అడిగారు కాబట్టి సంక్షిప్తంగా చాలా నేను మీకు చెప్తాను. మీకు తెలుసు కదా, అంటే సుభాష్ చంద్రబోస్
సార్
మెథడ్ ఏమిటి అని అంటే, ఇప్పుడు మామూలుగా గాంధీ మెథడ్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది అంటే, గమ్యం ఒక్కటి సరి అయినది అవ్వడం కాదు, గమ్యాన్ని చేరుకోవడానికి అనుసరించే మార్గం కూడా సరి అయింది అయి ఉండాలి.
రైట్ సార్.
ఓకే, మీరు ఇప్పుడు గుడికి వెళ్తున్నారు అని అంటే పెంటల నుంచి కుప్పల్లోంచి వెళ్తే కాదు, మంచి దారి గుండా గుడికి వెళ్ళాలి, మంచి దారి గుండా బడికి వెళ్ళాలి.
సార్ రైట్ సార్.
ఇది బట్ నాకు అనిపిస్తుంది సుభాష్ చంద్రబోస్ ని గౌరవించే వాళ్ళు చాలా మంది ఉంటారు, నేను కాదన్ను, నా వ్యక్తిగతంగా చెప్తున్నా. ఆయన ఏం చేశారు అని అంటే సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ లో, ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇండియాలో ఇంగ్లాండ్ ని ఓడించలేకపోతున్నాం, ఇంగ్లాండ్ ని బయటికి పంపించలేకపోతున్నాం కాబట్టి ఇంగ్లాండ్ కు వ్యతిరేకంగా రెండవ ప్రపంచ యుద్ధంలో పనిచేస్తూ ఉన్న జర్మనీ, ఇటలీ, జపాన్ వీళ్ళ ముగ్గురి సహాయం తీసుకుని ఇంగ్లాండ్ ను ఓడించి భారతదేశాన్ని విముక్తి చేయాలని అనుకున్నాడు ఆయన. ఇది స్థూలంగా.
ఓకే సార్, రైట్ సార్.
అది మెయిన్ పాయింట్. అందుకని హీ లెఫ్ట్ ఇండియా.
రైట్.
He left India. He tried to meet. Say he met Mussolini. Even when Hitler కూడా మీట్ అయ్యాడంటారు. ఇదంతా జరిగింది. వాళ్ళ దగ్గర నుంచి పెద్దగా అనుకున్న హెల్ప్ రాలేదు. ఫైనలీ హీ ఫ్లైడ్ టు జపాన్. జపాన్ కి వెళ్ళారు. ఓకే. సో అయితే జపాన్ పరిస్థితి ఏమిటి అని అంటే, అప్పటికి జపాన్తో ఇంగ్లాండ్ సైన్యం ఇండియాలో ఫైట్ చేస్తోంది. ఇంగ్లాండ్ సైన్యంలో భారతీయులు ఉన్నారు కదా. బ్రిటిష్ సైన్యం అంటే బ్రిటిష్ వాళ్లే ఉండరుగా. బ్రిటిష్ సైన్యంలో ఇండియన్స్ ఉంటారు. ఓకే. సో ఇక్కడ ఏషియాలో జరిగిన వార్స్ లో, యుద్ధాల్లో ఇంగ్లాండ్ ఓడిపోయి జపాన్ చాలా వాటిలో గెలిచింది. అలా గెలిచినప్పుడు చాలా మంది ఇండియన్ సైనికులు జపాన్ కి బందీగా చిక్కారు. దేవర్ ఆల్ అండ్ అలా చిక్కిన వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా అండర్ ది లీడర్షిప్ ఆఫ్ వన్ మిలిటరీ జనరల్ కాల్డ్ మోహన్ సింగ్, ఇఫ్ ఐ రిమెంబర్ కరెక్ట్లీ. మోహన్ సింగేగా. ఆ మోహన్ సింగ్ నాయకత్వంలో వాళ్ళంతా ఉన్నారు. సో వాళ్ళు ఏం చేశారు అని అంటే, దే కేమ్ టు టర్మ్స్ విత్ జపాన్. జపాన్ తో వాళ్ళు సంప్రదింపులు మొదలు పెట్టారు. అంటే ఎవరికైతే యుద్ధ ఖైదీలుగా పట్టుబడ్డారో వీళ్ళు, ఆ జపాన్ తో వీళ్ళు చర్చలు మొదలు పెట్టారు. అయ్యా, మమ్మల్ని యుద్ధ ఖైదీలుగా కాకుండా మమ్మల్ని మీ సైనికులుగా ఉపయోగించుకోండి. అర్థమైందా? మీ సైనికులుగా ఉపయోగించుకొని మీరు ఉపయోగించుకోండి, మీతో కలిసి మేము మీ యుద్ధాల్లో మేము పాల్గొంటాము అని చెప్పి మన వాళ్ళు అన్నారు. అట్లా మోహన్ సింగ్ ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ అనే దాన్ని అతను కనుక్కున్నాడు. ఇది ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ. అప్పుడు నేతాజీ సుభాష్ చంద్రబోస్ హీ రీచ్డ్, ఇక్కడ ఇటలీలోను జర్మనీలోను అతని ప్రయత్నాలు విఫలం కావడంతో జపాన్ చేరుకున్నాడు. జపాన్ చేరుకుని జపాన్ ప్రభుత్వంతో సంప్రదింపులు జరిపి, మీరు మాకు సాయం చేయండి, ఇంగ్లాండ్ తరిమి కొడదాం అని చెప్పి అంటే జపాన్ ప్రభుత్వం అక్కడ ఒప్పుకుంది. సో ఈ మొత్తం డిస్కషన్స్ లో మోహన్ సింగ్ నాయకత్వంలో ఉన్న ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ had accepted the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose. Okay. Right. So అట్లా ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ ఫార్మ్ అయ్యి, ఆ ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ ఇన్వేడెడ్ ఇండియా. ఇండియా మీద దాడి చేశారు వాళ్ళు, విత్ జపాన్ సపోర్ట్. కానీ జపనీస్ ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ పట్ల చాలా దుర్మార్గంగా, చాలా అమానుషంగా ప్రవర్తించారు. వాళ్ళు వీళ్ళని ఏమాత్రం గౌరవించలేదు, ఆహారం ఇవ్వలేదు, నీళ్లు ఇవ్వలేదు. సో బానిసల్ని చూసినట్టు చూసి మీరు పండి అన్నారు అంతే. వెరీ సాడ్ సిచ్యువేషన్. ఓకే. సో అట్లా ఇక్కడ సో వాళ్ళు అంటే లుక్ దిస్ చాలా పారాడాక్సికల్ సిచ్యువేషన్. ఇండియన్ ఆర్మీస్ హ్యావ్ ఇన్వేడెడ్ ఇండియా. Indian armies have invaded India. This is going to be a big issue after independence.
Yes, sir.
This has become a big issue. Independence tarvata.
Right.
So they were defeated. Of course, Indian National Army was defeated, and of course, Netaji met a tragic end.
Yes.
అదంతా డిస్మాంటిల్ అయిపోయింది ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ. సరే, దాని కథ అక్కడ అయిపోయింది. యుద్ధం ముగిసింది, మనకు స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చింది.
సార్
స్వాతంత్రం వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఈ ఇండియన్ నేషనల్ ఆర్మీ మీద, అందులో పాల్గొన్న సైనికుల మీద దేశద్రోహ నేరం మోపింది బ్రిటిష్ గవర్నమెంట్. దేశద్రోహ నేరం మోపారు వాళ్ళ మీద. నువ్వు ఈ దేశీయుడై ఉండి మళ్ళీ ఈ దేశీయుల మీదకు యుద్ధానికి వస్తావా అని. అసలు యు ఇమాజిన్ దట్ సిచ్యువేషన్. నేను అందుకే somehow I could not, అదే ఆయన చేసిన పని నాకు ఎందుకో ఇష్టంగా ఉండదు. చాలా మంది నేతాజీని చాలా గొప్ప హీరోగా క్లెయిమ్ చేస్తారు, కానీ he made Indians to fight with Indians. And that led to వాళ్ళ మీద దేశద్రోహ నేరం మోపితే more than 1 year కోర్టుల కేసు నడిచింది.
Is it not with an intention to liberate India from the clutches of British government?
Yes, liberate what when 10,000 or 20,000 people can liberate India from British. అదొకటి మెథడ్ సరి అయింది అయి ఉండాలి కదా. మెథడ్ రీచింగ్ కాదు, అదేగా మొదటి చెప్పింది.
విధానం సరిగా ఉంటే
నాట్ ఓన్లీ ది ఎండ్స్ బట్ మీన్స్ షుడ్ బి రైట్. సో మోర్ దాన్ 1 year కేసు నడిచింది. జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ హిమ్సెల్ఫ్ ఫాట్ ఆన్ ద సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ది సోల్జర్, వీళ్ళు సైనికుల తరఫున పోరాటం చేసి అది దేశద్రోహం కాదు, దేశాభిమానమేనని చెప్పి దాన్ని రుజువు చేసే ప్రయత్నం చేసి మొత్తానికి ఫైనలీ ఆ కోర్టు కేసులో వాళ్ళు ఆ సైనికులు వాళ్ళు విముక్తం చేయబడ్డారు. దే ఆర్ నాట్ పనిష్డ్ అన్నమాట. సో దిస్ ఇస్ హౌ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్. ఐ థింక్ ఐ గేవ్ యు ఆన్సర్.
Thank you very much for an elaborate explanation. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Any query, sir? We are running short of time. Good evening, everybody. Yes, sir. Yes. Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. K. Srinivasarao, lecturer in commerce, IKC coordinator, Government Degree College, Ravulapalems. Actually, we are very fortunate to have the 2 resource persons. We had a wonderful lectures. Actually, I want to say Dr. Kapparti sir worked as lecturer in Government Degree College, Rajol. I was the student of that college. At that time, I used to observe the classes of Dr. Sir Kapparti sir. The students are very passionate to listen his lectures, even though it is after 5. They are very patient and listening they are listening the lectures. This is one of my observations. Anyhow, we had a successful webinar. We have very good responses in the chat boxes and appraisals in the chat boxes. Dear participants, we will send e-certificates to your mails in a few days. Please fill the feedback forms, which will be posted in the WhatsApp group. Finally, I invite TOHG Gandhi garu, lecturer in physics, to propose vote of thanks, sir. Sir Gandhi, sir.
Sir. Okay. Sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Carry on, sir.
Good evening, all of you, sir. It's my great pleasure to propose vote of thanks to all those who extended their cooperation in successful conduct of this webinar. First of all, on behalf of the organizing committee, staff, students of Government Degree College, Ravulapalems, we are very thankful to our Honorable Special Commissioner for Collegiate Education, Sri M. Naik sir, and his good office for giving us this good opportunity of conducting online webinar. And I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. R. David Kumar Swami Garu, Regional Joint Director of Collegiate Education, Zone 1 and 2, Mahendravaram. Sir. Okay, sir. Sir? Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. R. David Kumar Swami Garu, Regional Joint Director of Collegiate Education, Zone 1 and 2, Mahendravaram, who is constantly motivating us in conducting this type of programs in this pandemic situation. I express my thanks to the resource persons the Sri K. Ramanamurthy Garu, Kopparthi Venkatramamurthy Garu, a great speaker, retired principal of Government Degree College, Kamavarapu, on the topic bombing on Japan in World War II, a historical perspective, for his excellent explanation. From his speech, we should know that we should learn lessons from history to mold our present for the better future. Thank you, sir, for kindly accepting our invitation to be the resource person in this webinar. I express my thanks to the other resource person of the day, the young and enthusiastic person, Sri K.V. Ganesh Kumar, lecturer in physics, DRG Government Degree College, Tadipalligudem, for his excellent talk on the topic nuclear energy, the creator and destroyer. As I rightly pointed out, that the utilization of nuclear energy, either for creation or for destruction, is in our hands only. Thank you, sir, for readily accepting our invitation to be the resource person of the webinar. We also thank Sri M. Shyambab Garu, Principal, DRG Government Degree College, Tadipalligudem, for kindly accepting to provide the services of the lecturer of physics of DR Government College, Tadipalligudem, in this webinar. We sincerely thank Dr. C. Sriramulu Garu, Principal, Sanjay Gandhi Government Degree and PG College, Pileru, Chittoor District, for kindly providing the Zoom platform for the smooth conduct of this webinar. I must thank all the participants, faculty, and distinguished persons, and students from different institutions and their principals, managements, including our own college, across the country, for your kind cooperation and fruitful interaction with the resource persons. Actually, the active participation of the participants by giving comments and suggestions and interaction with the resource persons only give us moral support in organizing this type of webinars. I must thank our beloved principal, sir, Dr. B.V. Tirupanyam Garu, who is the backbone of the activity and always encouraging and guiding us in the conduct of this webinar. I must thank Srimati A. Rajeshwari Madam, Head of the Department of English, Academic Coordinator of this college, and Dr. K. Srinivasarao Garu, Organizing Secretary, Head of the Department of Commerce and IPSC Coordinator of this college, for extending their good support in organizing this webinar. In this connection, I must thank Srimati U. Subhashini Madam, Lecturer in Computer Applications of our college, and her team for her excellent technical support by taking guidance from the principal from time to time in making this event a grand success. I must thank our Head of the Department of Physics and Vice Principal of our college, Sri BHSVV and Sachimurthy Garu, for his wonderful coordination in the successful organization of the webinar. And I thank Srimati BVB SDNL Karunasri Madam, Head of the Department of History, for her kind support. Finally, I thank all the staff members of our college, both teaching and non-teaching, and students who worked hard, both directly and indirectly, for making the event a grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Jai Hind.
I congratulate Gandhi Garu for sir.
Thank you all team members. You did a wonderful job. It was a huge success. I appreciate all your efforts, unflinching efforts for successful conduct of this event. Thank you very much. Within a short time, within a period of just 2 days, you did miracles. Thank you so much for the pleasant committee as well as the conveners. Thank you so much. Okay, shall we wind up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
one and all.
Thank you, sir.
మన స్టాఫ్ మెంబర్స్ ఉందండి మన స్టాఫ్ మెంబర్స్
Thank you for your engagement, sir.
Please, the remaining can leave the meeting. I request all the staff members of our college to stay back. Just we'll have a 5-minute discussion. Later onwards, we will discuss.
హలో త్రిపాణ్యం గారు, డాక్టర్ త్రిపాణ్యం గారు నమస్కారం. నేను హర్నాథ్. బాగా ఏం లేదు, మన వాళ్ళు కొంతమంది మీరు పెట్టిన లింక్ ను పంపిస్తే వాళ్ళు జాయిన్ అయ్యారు ఆ కాలేజ్, మన దుంపకడప కాలేజ్ నుంచి. అలాగే కొంతమంది కూడా వాళ్ళకి అదే అదే వాళ్ళ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో వాళ్ళు లేరు కాబట్టి మీరు ఆ వెబ్ అదే మన ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ ఫామ్ లింక్ ఎలా పంపిస్తున్నా నేను వాళ్ళకి ఫార్వర్డ్ చేస్తా. వెస్ట్ గోదావరి గ్రూప్ లో కానీ, అదే మన డిఆర్సి గ్రూప్ లో కానీ, లేకపోతే ఆర్జేడీ గ్రూప్ లో కానీ పెడితే నేను మన వాళ్ళకి కొంతమంది ఫార్వర్డ్ చేయగలుగుతాను. అంటే వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో అందరం లేము. అది
ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ చాలా మంది మెసేజ్ పెట్టారు, ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ పెట్టిందని మనం చేయలేదు కాబట్టి
పంపిద్దాం సార్.
అంటే వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో అందరూ లేరు సార్, అందుకని వాళ్ళకి మిగతా పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ ఎలా పంపిస్తారో మీరు ఆలోచించి పంపించండి.
ఆ గ్రూప్ లో వాళ్ళకే పెట్టలేదు, అందరికి పంపించాము రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేసుకున్న వాళ్ళకి కూడా.
అదే అందుకని
నేను పంపిస్తాను సార్, నేను అడిగి
అలాగా
పంపిస్తాము.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. అన్ని రెండు లెక్చర్స్ బాగున్నాయి
సార్. మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే
అలాగే
పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసిన వాళ్ళ నేము, కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబరు, మెయిల్ ఐడి పంపించండి, మేము పంపించాం.
సరే సార్, ఓకే. మీరు అదే ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ ఫామ్ ఒకవేళ మీరు గ్రూప్ లో పెట్టినా, ఆర్జేడీ గ్రూప్ లో కానీ ఎలాగైనా పెట్టినా ప్రిన్సిపాల్స్ అందరూ కన్సర్న్ కాలేజీ లెక్చరర్స్ ఫార్వర్డ్ చేయగలుగుతారు. అలాగైనా పర్వాలేదు.
అవసరం లేదు, మా కాలేజ్ నుంచే మా మెయిల్ నుంచి మేము పంపించేస్తాం.
మన మెయిల్ ఐడికి జేకేసీ మెయిల్ ఐడికి పంపినా మనం ఫార్వర్డ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, ఎవరి కాళ్ళకి మెయిల్ పంపించుకోగలం.
సరే, ఇప్పుడు ఎవరైనా రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేయకుండా దీనిలో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తుంటే వాళ్ళు డీటెయిల్స్, కాలేజీ, అదేవిధంగా మాకు మెయిల్ ఐడి, కాంటాక్ట్ పంపిస్తే మేము పంపించేస్తాం. మా దగ్గర ఎవిడెన్స్ ఉంటుంది కదా, పార్టిసిపేషన్ లిస్ట్ ఉంటుంది మా దగ్గర.
అవునవును, అందుకనే. సరే, థ్యాంక్ యూ. రైట్, బాగున్నాయి రెండు కూడా చాలా.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. లాస్ట్ బాగుంది, హిస్టారికల్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ చాలా బాగుంది. కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్ అది కన్వీనర్ మూర్తి గారు, గాంధీ గారు అండ్ కరుణశ్రీ గారు. బాగా జరిగింది, తక్కువ టైంలో మనం డిజైన్ చేసాం ప్రోగ్రామ్, బాగానే జరిగింది. I request the others to kindly leave the meeting so that we can have a short duration meeting. సో మనకి ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇంటర్మీడియట్ పాస్ అయిన స్టూడెంట్స్తో మనకి ఇంటరాక్షన్ ఉందండి. మీరు కూడా జాయిన్ అవ్వండి, నేను పంపిస్తాను. మీరు అందరూ మాట్లాడచ్చు, మనందరం మాట్లాడదాము. ఒక 8 మెంబర్స్ ఉన్నారు, అదొక నెంబర్ 1. నెంబర్ 2, యాజ్ వి discussed earlier, from tomorrow onwards we'll be having online classes for the academic year 2020-21 for the 3rd and 5th semester students. అది గాంధీ గారు టైం టేబుల్ ప్రిపేర్ చేశారు కదా, అందరికి ఇచ్చేయండి. ప్రిపేర్ చేశారు, పెట్టారా మీరు వెబ్సైట్, మన మెయిల్స్ పెట్టారా?
పెట్టలేదు సార్, మీకే పెట్టాను సార్. మీరు
ప్రస్తుతానికి పెట్టేయండి. ఇండివిజువల్ గా మళ్ళీ వీళ్ళు డిపార్ట్మెంటల్ టైం టేబుల్ వేసుకోండి, ఆఫ్ ది డిపార్ట్మెంట్ టైం టేబుల్ వేసేసుకోండి. రేపు నుంచి క్లాస్ వర్క్ కమెంట్స్ చేసేయండి. మీరు 10 to 4 థియరీ యాజ్ వెల్ as ప్రాక్టికల్స్ కూడా ఏమైనా ఉంటే మనకి వర్చువల్ ప్రాక్టికల్స్ వెబ్సైట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అది కూడా మనం చేసుకోవచ్చు. రేపటి నుంచి మనకి అకాడమిక్ ఇయర్ స్టార్ట్ అయినట్లే ఆన్లైన్ క్లాసెస్. ఇప్పటికే చాలా కాలేజీలు ఇప్పటికే ఇప్పటి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసి పంపిస్తున్నారు. మన మేడం, ఇంగ్లీష్ మేడం ఉన్నారా? రాజేశ్వరి గారు
ఉన్నాను సార్.
మనకి ఇది స్ప్రెడ్షీట్ తయారు చేయండి, లాస్ట్ టైం లాగా తయారు చేసినట్లే. రేపటి నుంచి దానిలోనే మన వాళ్ళు అప్లోడ్ చేస్తారు.
అలాగే సార్.
నెక్స్ట్ రేపు మూర్తి గారు, రేపు ఒకసారి మీరు కాలేజీకి రండి. రేపు నుంచి మనం ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే, మనం కొన్ని రెజల్యూషన్స్ తీసుకున్నాము. అది ఆఫీస్లో అది పార్టిషన్ చేయించాలని, అదేవిధంగా ఇప్పుడు ల్యాండ్స్కేపింగ్ కొన్ని చేస్తున్నాము. స్టూడెంట్స్ వచ్చేటప్పుడు కొంచెం బాగా ఉండేలాగా కొన్ని మనం అనుకున్నాం కదా, 20,000 అలొకేట్ చేసాం దీనికి, ల్యాండ్స్కేపింగ్ ప్లాంట్స్ అవి కొన్ని వేద్దామని. రేపు కొంచెం రేపు కొన్ని, అలాగే జేసీబీ ఒకటి మాట్లాడాము. ఎంట్రన్స్ అటు ఇటు మనం చిన్న గోతులా తవ్వి జేసీబీతో అటు ఇటు క్రాటన్స్ మధ్యలో మంచి మంచి మొక్కలు వేద్దామని. రేపు వీలుంటే కండిషన్స్ బాగుంటాయి, కోవిడ్ అది ప్రాబ్లం లేకపోతే మీరు అందరూ వచ్చి సజెషన్స్ ఇస్తే ఇంకా మంచిది. నాకు నేను అలానే వెళ్తాను. ఒక ప్రస్తుతానికి ఒక 10,000 వర్త్ మొక్కలు అవి పెట్టి కొంచెం బ్యూటిఫుల్గా చేద్దామని నా ఉద్దేశం. లోకల్గా ఉన్న వాళ్ళు లెక్చరర్స్ రండి కంపల్సరీగా. రావులపల్లి ఉన్న వాళ్ళు కోవిడ్ ప్రాబ్లం లేకపోతే రండి. నేను
ఎన్నింటికి వెళ్దాం సార్? టైం
10కి వచ్చేయండి సార్. మనం వీలుంటే నెక్స్ట్ 2-3 days మొక్కలు తీసుకురావాలి, దాన్ని మళ్ళీ మన వాళ్ళతో పాటించాలి అక్కడ. పిల్లలు కూడా కావాల్సి ఉంటుంది. రేపు
చంద్రబాబు గారు ఉన్నారండి లైన్లో? చంద్రబాబు గారు,
ఓకే, ఆల్యుమిని అసోసియేషన్ మెంబర్స్ కూడా వస్తారు. వాళ్ళ సజెషన్ కూడా తీసుకుని మనం అనుకున్నాం కదా, ఈ మన హాస్టల్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఎదురుగా ఒక గోడ కట్టేసి లోపల మనం గార్డెన్ డెవలప్ చేద్దామని. ప్రస్తుతానికి గోడ కట్టకపోయినా సరే ఇలా బౌండరీస్ వేసేద్దాం దేంతో, మొక్కలతో.
అలాగే.
సో మీరు ఎవరైనా వస్తే సజెషన్స్ ఇవ్వచ్చు. ఎస్పెషల్లీ బాటనీ మేడం మీరు ఉన్నారు కదా, లైబ్రరీ మేడం, ఎవరైనా లేడీస్ వస్తే మనకు మంచి సజెషన్స్ ఇస్తారు, ఈ మొక్కలు ఇక్కడ బాగుంటాయి సార్ అని. ఐ ఇన్వైట్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ. ఎంతమంది వస్తే అంతమంది రండి. అలాగే నేను, మూర్తి గారు వస్తారు. లోకల్గా ఉన్నారు, వెంకటేశ్వరరావు గారు ఉన్నారా, మీరు రండి. మీరు కూడా రండి. స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎవరైనా ఉంటే బాగుంటే, కోవిడ్ ప్రాబ్లమే లేకపోతే రమ్మనండి, వాళ్ళతో మనం మొక్కలు నాటేద్దాం. రేపు నుంచి ఒక 3 days ఇది జరుగుతుంది. ఏంటి ల్యాండ్స్కేప్ జరుగుతుంది. ఎందుకు వర్షాలు పడుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి తర్వాత మళ్ళీ మనం. సో ఐ వాంట్ టు టేక్ యువర్ సజెషన్స్. నెంబర్ 1. నెంబర్ 2, లోపల పార్టీషన్ రేపు స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామన్నారు ఆఫీస్లో. అదేవిధంగా మనకి ప్రిన్సిపల్ రూమ్లో మనం కాన్ఫరెన్స్ పెట్టుకోవడానికి యూ షేప్లో ఒకటి ఇది తయారు చేస్తున్నాం. అది 20,000 తీసుకుంటున్నారు. యాక్చువల్లీ దాన్ని మన రెజల్యూషన్ తీసుకోలేదు, తీసుకుందాము. మనకి న్యాట్ వస్తుంది కాబట్టి టీటీఎం వాళ్ళకి ప్రజెంటేషన్ అది చేయాలన్నా మనమైనా చేసుకోవాలి, మీటింగ్లు పెట్టుకోవాలన్నా యూ షేప్లో తయారు చేస్తున్నాం తక్కువలో. అది ఒక రేపు స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామన్నారు. అదేవిధంగా మనకి ఒక రూమ్ చెప్పాను మీకు, కొంతమంది డొనేషన్స్ అడిగేమో ఒక్కొక్కరు రూమ్ని అడాప్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ అన్నారు. అది తెలిసిన డాక్టర్ గారు మొత్తం ఒక రూమ్ మొత్తం ఎంత అవుతుందో చెప్పమన్నారు. అది చెప్పాను, స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామన్నారు. మన ప్రతి రూమ్కి కొన్ని విండోస్ ఉన్నాయి చూడండి. విండో పెయిన్స్ లేవు.
అవునండి.
దీంతో ఏంటి మనం ప్రస్తుతానికి పాములవి రాకుండా ప్లైవుడ్ వాడుతూ ఏం చేద్దామని నా ఉద్దేశం. మీ సజెషన్స్ ఏంటో చెప్పండి. యాక్చువల్ ఇప్పుడు మనకి 2 పైన ఒకటి కింద ఒకటి ఈ క్లాస్ రూమ్ డిజిటల్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ పెడుతున్నాం కదా, ఆ రూమ్ని కొంచెం ఫోర్టిఫై చేయాలి. అది కూడా మనం చేయాలి. అది ఎందుకంటే అది ఎలక్ట్రికల్ పాయింట్ పెట్టిస్తారు కాబట్టి మనకి ఆల్రెడీ ప్రొజెక్టర్స్ వచ్చేస్తున్నాయి కాబట్టి మనం బిగించేసుకుంటే బాగుంటుంది. నెక్స్ట్ మనకి సెప్టెంబర్ లేదా అక్టోబర్ 15th కల్లా క్లాస్ వర్క్ స్టార్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. అప్పటికి మనం అన్ని రెడీ చేసుకోవాలి. శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, హలో ఉన్నారా? వెళ్ళిపోయారేనా శ్రీనివాస్ గారు? చూడండి, ఉన్నారేనా? అదే సరే శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, మనం ఎలా పబ్లిక్ ఆర్ట్ సిస్టమ్ పెడతాం కదా ప్రతి క్లాస్లోనూ. దానికి మూర్తి గారు చెప్పండి. శ్రీనివాస్ గారు కొటేషన్స్ తీసుకోమని, స్పీకర్స్ అలాగే యాంప్లిఫైర్ కొటేషన్ తీసుకోమని దాన్ని తీసుకుంటామన్నారు. ఓకే, శ్రీనివాస్ గారు. ఓకే. I request the other participants of this webinar to kindly leave the meeting. Other participants are requested to kindly leave the meeting.
ఇంకా 44 మెంబర్స్ అంటే ఇంకా ఉన్నారు సార్ చాలా.
సుభాష్ మేడం లీలో ట్యాబ్ అవుతుంది, నేను రిమూవ్ చేస్తున్నాను. So stay back kindly. I am removing the other parts. ఓకే అండి, ఎవరు చాలా తక్కువ మంది మిగిలారు.
8 మెంబర్స్, 8 మీతో 9.
8 మెంబర్స్ ఉన్నారు. శ్రీనివాస్ గారిని రమ్మనండి. శ్రీనివాస్ గారు ఒకసారి ఫోన్ చేసి ఉంటాను. మిగిలిన వాళ్ళు మన వాళ్ళు కొంచెం ఎంత ఏమోనండి. ఎవరు సుభాష్ని గారు ఉన్నారా?
ఉన్నాను సార్. హలో సార్.
మేడం, ఈరోజు అతను ఈవినింగ్ కానీ రేపు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను సార్. మా వెబ్సైట్ అయిపోయిందట.
అది చెప్పాడు సార్. అంటే నిన్న వాళ్ళ అబ్బాయి బయట ఉన్నాడు, కలవలేదని చెప్పి మండే ఇస్తాను అని చెప్పేసి అన్నాడు సార్. చెప్తా అన్నాడు సార్.
మూర్తి గారు, హలో మూర్తి గారు, మూర్తి గారు, హలో 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 రాజేశ్వర్ గారు ఉన్నారు లైన్లో? రాజేశ్వర్ గారు
ఉన్నారండి, రెండు మ్యూట్ చేశారు.
సరే మూర్తి గారు, మనం హలో
చెప్పండి.
మనం దీనికి ఈ పర్చేజ్ కమిటీ లేదా మీరు వేస్తాను నేను. పర్చేజ్ అండ్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ కమిటీ మన ఈ వర్క్స్ అన్ని మనం చేస్తున్నాం కదా, వాళ్ళ ద్వారా మనం చేయించేద్దాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆఫీస్లో ఒకటి, ప్రిన్సిపల్ రూమ్లో ఒకటి, నెక్స్ట్ మనం డోర్స్ పెట్టేస్తున్నాం కదా కొన్ని రూమ్స్కి, అవి పర్చేజ్ కమిటీ వేస్తే వాళ్ళ ద్వారా ఇవన్నీ జరుగుతాయి. అలానే మనం స్పీకర్స్ అది కొనాలి. మీరు శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, అదేవిధంగా కాంట్రాక్ట్ ఫ్యాకల్టీలో ఒకరు వేయండి.
గాంధీ గారిని కూడా ఉంచండి సార్.
ఉంచండి. మీరు పర్చేస్ కమిటీ ఒకటి వేసేసి వాళ్ళు సూపర్వైజ్ చేస్తారు వర్క్స్ అన్ని కూడా.
సార్ నేను రాలేను సార్, దయచేసాను.
కాదండి, మీరు రావాల్సిన పని లేదు, కమిటీలో వేస్తాము. తర్వాత
రావడం అంటే సార్ అందరూ పరిస్థితి అలాగే ఉంటుంది సార్. ఇప్పుడు
మీరు
ఇప్పుడు మా ఇంటి పక్కనే మా డాక్టర్ గారికి వచ్చిందండి, మా ఇంటి పక్కన డాక్టర్ గారికి
వారానికి వినండి సార్, వర్క్స్ జరుగుతున్నాయి. వారానికి ఒకసారైనా రండి, అవి ఒకసారి ఎలా జరుగుతున్నాయి ఏంటో చూస్తే మీకు ఒక ఐడియా వస్తుంది. మీ సూపర్విజన్ లో జరుగుతాయి. రేపు మూర్తిగా వస్తారు.
ప్రసాద్ రెడ్డి ఎవరో జాయిన్ అయ్యారు
సార్. సార్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ సార్.
మేడం చెప్పండి.
సార్ యూట్యూబ్ స్ట్రీమింగ్ అయిపోతుంది సార్, అది దానికి వెళ్ళిపోయింది సార్. నేను నొక్కాను.
ఓకే ఓకే, అది ఆపేస్తున్నారు.